Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Thank you, hockey. Thank you, hockey, for giving us this Game 7. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. I guess thank you, Edmonton Oilers, with a little combination of Florida Panthers and all things going right for Edmonton and all things going horribly wrong for Florida. Good morning, by the way. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff.
Well, what do we make of this? Because the Oilers have to finish the deal and come back from 3-0 to win the Stanley Cup final, or it's nothing, right? Because last year, Miami and Boston did this in the Eastern Conference Finals, and nobody talks about it because Miami had a 3-0 lead and blew it, and then won Game 7. So really, to be a big story, the kind of story that it feels like, doesn't Edmonton have to win?
I think for the Connor McDavid of it all, if you want to just go to the biggest star in the series, I think it actually does matter that they've come back to force a Game 7 because this is his first time playing in a Stanley Cup final, and this went from a series that was not memorable at all, where it looked like, the Florida Panthers were just going to have their unfinished business from last year, and they were just going to have this great, revenge season. And they blew through everything, just like with the Boston Celtics, sort of with Dallas. Like, I know that wasn't a sweep, but it just ended up kind of, being a Boston massacre. And I think for McDavid to put his stamp on this series, and he didn't have a point in the last game, but we all see what's going on here. And the fact that actually he didn't have a point in the last game would make me very concerned if I were a Florida Panther fan about what he's going to deliver in Game 7 tonight. I think it does matter for McDavid. I do think so. As far
definitely.
as the history, no one's going to take anything away from the Panthers. If they finish this off, the retelling of this is going to be about their resilience. It's going to be about how they found a way when all chips were down. Nobody's going to hold it against Florida.
Wait. Are you saying that there's going to be a Connor McDavid can't win the big one narrative if he loses this game? He came back from 3-0. I think he's already slayed that dragon a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. No, I think his star catapults.
Right.
Even if they lose tonight.
Okay, even if they lose. Because that's interesting. Or do people just forget this run if they lose? So it's a really interesting. I think we have to feel it after tonight's game. I'm not so sure what the legacy is going to be. I guess it all depends when it plays out. But it's funny. But you're right. This is going to be a Stanley Cup final to remember. And we haven't had. What's the last Game 7 we had? I saw it was around the pandemic or something in a final. We have not had a Game 7. This is great because honestly, the NBA Finals was quite disappointing because it was not competitive. So I'm excited for this. I came into this playoff. Remember, I jumped on the Connor McDavid bandwagon after I saw him play once in Vegas?
Yeah, when we were out there for the Super Bowl. You weren't even specifically out there to go to a game. You just happened to go to a game with our pal Sully and Zach Gelb.
Yes, and Connor
was there? Yeah.
Connor McDavid was playing, and it did look like an adult playing with children. It was so bizarre because you can't really tell on TV. I'm going to be one of those guys. You can't tell on TV. The way he handled the puck was so different. The way he moved is so different. So this would be so huge for hockey. If he won tonight, I think that to me, he's even possibly bigger than Crosby and Lemieux and all the other non-Gretzky superstars. Like, he is the savior. He is, I will dare say, the Caitlin Clark of the NHL. He would be a huge ratings boost moving forward. Like, if he won tonight, then that's something we could all hold on to and be like, wow, there's a singular force in this game.
I mean, and I think you're kind of talking about the lower 48 here, and you're talking about the United States. Yeah. What this would mean for Canada to have the cup back in Canada for the first time since 1993 is something also that is hanging over this. I mean,
I have a question. If you're in Toronto or Montreal, do you want Edmonton to win it, though? Is there resentment? They're still rivals, I assume.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying, take out that rivalry. Yeah. Just for Canada as a whole.
Is there pride?
Of course. And listen, Canada, they've won gold medals in hockey. I know on the women's side for sure. Like, they've put their stamp on a lot. But for Canada, this has got to feel like huge. We were talking about some other big collapses, and we'll get into that a little bit further on in the show. We're going to switch things up a little bit, give you guys a little great debate on a Monday, as opposed to when we usually do it on Wednesday, because this necessitates a great debate. We were talking a little about all-time collapses or comebacks or what have you. And we talked a little about Yankees-Red Sox in 2004. And what was hanging over that was obviously the curse of the Bambino. The fact that Boston had not broken that curse. I feel like there's a little curse of the Bambino vibe because Canada's been shut out. It's not the same. but it's giving me shades of everything that's on the line here for Edmonton and what this would mean. There's no part of this that's not interesting. Every part. And can I give you another aspect of this that I find interesting? And it's just about the psychology of having a Game 7 in this fashion, when you had one team up 3-0, and now the other team has come back and tied it up at 3-3. If you are the coach who's behind, right? Mm-hmm. If you're Chris Knobloch, you can make all the adjustments you need to make because you're down.
Right.
So the whole locker room have to understand if I'm moving pieces around and if I need to make changes on the power play or whatever, I have license to do that. If you're Paul Maurice on the other side, who has now finally made some changes to the power play, it feels like panic. Because you were up 3-0, and now you want to be telling your guys, hey, it's all the same, it's all the same. We don't have to make these big, wild changes here. Let's just play our game. Well, now you can't. And they did have to make some changes in the last game to the power play, and it felt a little like panic. So the psychology of this is massive. Even though now it's tied 3-3, all the momentum in the world is behind Edmonton.
Yeah, but does it feel like it matters, though? I mean, in the sense of all the momentum, hockey's so kind of random in that way. I don't feel like, you're right, like you would think, oh, when the Red Sox beat the Yankees in 2004, like you knew by Game 7 the Yankees were dead.
And it was a long goodbye, too, because that Game 7 was not competitive.
Yeah, well, this is a bit of Monday morning quarterback to say that. But it doesn't feel like, I know the 8-1 game, but generally, hockey, the puck bounces just differently. Like there is not as the carryover from game to game. Like I don't think it's gonna be. It doesn't feel anything like that to me. Where this 3-0 blowing this has totally sucked the confidence out of the Panthers. I feel like they're more like the Celtics and Heat last year. I feel like they have a little Miami Heat. Obviously, Miami, as we've been pointing out, Sunrise, Florida is not Miami. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Panthers came out here. It's not one of those ones where the momentum is really overwhelming me at all.
I mean, I'll disagree. I think that you've got to be panicking if you're Florida. Let's not also forget they lost last year's Stanley Cup. Like this just makes it even worse. You know, it was not. It wouldn't have been this dramatic last season, but this is the comeback, and their best players aren't playing well now. So,
but this one's home, right?
It is home. I think that Edmonton's coming into this with all the confidence in the world, and it feels like in this series, almost like you're going to know from the first period. I think Edmonton's feeling this all the way. They've got the best player, Leon Draisaitl. Came alive with an assist in the last game, but he hasn't exactly been filling up the stat sheet. It's actually been the guys on the depth guys who have really been, and McDavid obviously, but a big part of this comeback, and they're completely outplaying the depth guys for Florida and the stars for Florida.
Yeah, I'm not sure the momentum you're describing, the game to game, is the same in hockey. Maybe you could be right that they're already beat in a sense by what's happened. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a super competitive game.
Would this be the worst collapse ever? Not just hockey. Ever, ever, ever. Ever, ever. Up 3-0. Now, if the Game 7 was at home, actually, I'm not even going to do that. Yes, it would be. It'd be the worst, especially because Florida has the home game for Game 7. Mm-hmm. It would be the worst. How do you live with yourself? You'd be dying. Just because all the chances, you're right, Pearl, there's like a randomness at times. You feel like to hockey. I think that bothers hockey people.
The fact that the Panthers blew them out of the water, it was up 3-0. Yeah, I would say there's a randomness. And also, this will be the fifth comeback from 4-0. Hockey, to me, and hockey is a sport in the playoffs where the 8 seed has a great chance to win the title. I'm not getting the analytics here, but it feels like stranger things happen where NBA is a little more according to script. NFL is according to script. Hockey, not so much from my experience in the playoffs.
So the last time that this happened in the Stanley Cup final, where a team was down 0-3, came back and won the cup, was 1942. How are we going to count that one? I mean, it does count. It happened. Not many people probably remember it at this point. That
was an era where goalies didn't even wear masks. So
they didn't wear masks for like another 20 years.
Did they even have goalies?
Yeah, they just pulled a guy out of the crowd and stuck him on the
defensive man just stood behind the front of the goal. Never they were in trouble.
Also, other things going on in the world in 1942, like a world war where many people were all fighting. You also had, It wasn't nearly. This is pre-original 6, guys.
Did they have ice back then?
Wait. It was pre-original 6?
I read that it was pre-original 6.
I believe you, but how can you be pre-original 6?
I didn't even think
the
anything
name
happened.
is original.
Yeah, great point. Marketing. I don't know. I'd read that it was pre-original 6. I'm like, this wouldn't even be in the same stratosphere as what we have now.
I am reading actually that ESPN's Tom Habestraw did a deep dive into the 1942 final. Apparently, those stats don't count. I'm sorry, he's not on ESPN. That's an inside joke. Inside joke. Sorry, but I'm in a deep dive on the 42 finals.
Yeah, tell us what you find out.
It was the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings. It can't be pre-original 6. I got to double check. No, I love it, but that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, take it up with the historians. That's not my area. 855-212-4227. Obviously, this has happened other times in hockey, just not in the Stanley Cup final outside of that 42 Stanley Cup final. So, wow.
Okay, so, oh my God, this is crazy. I mean, we might want to take a break as I give a long oral history of where the original 6 came from.
Oh, please don't.
Apparently, there were more than 6 before that year.
Oh, is this like the Big 12 that actually has 16 teams in it?
Yeah. So there, 42-43, the league was reduced to 6 teams. So there was an original 7 or something, like some other random hockey team that just didn't, has been forgotten by history. Poor Winnipeg. Actually, I don't know what happened. But I will do a lot of research here, and let's set aside 20 minutes later in the show where I will talk about the birth of the original 6 in the NHL.
20 minutes.
Don't do that.
You're right, 40 minutes, EJ.
Oh, no.
Tear up the rundown. Perloff's on a roll. Would this be the worst collapse in sports history? That's what we're looking at tonight. Thank goodness for hockey. Basketball gave us nothing. Thank you, hockey, for saving the early summer.
Well, thank you, Panthers, for choking like the worst thing ever. That helped us a lot.
I know. Whoever needs to be thanked. We'll do a whole winners and losers off of this.
That is true.
But it felt like the NBA Finals ended a month ago, and now
the draft's this week.
And also, this hockey series has kind of gone on a long time. A long time.
Thankfully. The games. This is what we want.
We had swimming trials. We had WNBA. We had baseball. There was a lot going on this weekend. All completely random.
Yeah.
Don't forget the U.S. track and field.
Yeah.
I was watching some of that.
I watched last night, too.
You saw U.S. soccer. I mean, there was a hodgepodge of international athletic events going on, Mag.
Protesters on the 18th green at the Travelers. We've got so much to do.
Yeah, just your normal Sunday in sports.
We also have to get into all of our weekends here. Disasters averted. Yes, Pete.
If you collapse like this, it's the pure personification of being a loser.
Oh, this now goes back to Pete's loser rankings.
This is a pure personification of being a loser. You cannot do this in any type of sport whatsoever. And you know what? The front office, the coach, clear them all out if that happens.
They've made back-to-back Stanley Cup finals and everyone gets fired?
Doesn't matter.
Trading Matthew Tkachuk?
It doesn't matter.
Wow.
This is what you live for. If you can't step up tonight and win the game, then there's something wrong.
Wow.
Fire everybody.
Especially in the NHL when you're clearing coaches out every day.
Well,
what about what Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said? You got to be around the rim to win a championship.
Well, he's really defined that in the last 25 years.
Makes Cowboy fans feel great. Yeah.
What about being mediocre for 20 years?
Dude, you can't fire everyone. You're one of the best teams in the league perennially.
You got to at least consider the coach.
Would you fire the coach?
Yes. You're up 3-1. Come on.
3-0.
3-0.
That's the point. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
They were up 3-1 too.
They were up 3-1. They were up 3-2.
Exactly. They were
now it's tied.
Now it's tied.
Yeah. Smartest radio show in the world. Would you fire everybody?
I would.
Oh gosh. Would this be the biggest collapse? Would you fire everybody? 855-212-4227. This is what's at stake. And Connor McDavid doing something that would sort of add to his legacy while also delineating him from Gretzky in something. He would have something now on his resume that Gretzky did not have. Obviously, you got to go in the 0-3 hole. That's not a feather in your cap. But then to lead your team out of it and to be able to come back and win and this be your first Stanley Cup, I mean, that is epic.
Right. I don't think he's chasing Gretzky in a sense, but I think just becoming the face of the sport before Connor Bedard, my other guy, the other Connor, becomes the face of the sport. This would be huge. I mean, that's what we're seeing again with Caitlin Clark. Sports need one superstar. That's just the way it is. And, man, this would be huge. Gary Bettman would be thrilled to have Connor. Is he still the commissioner? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he would be thrilled.
That's an appointment for life.
Yeah, what? He's still the commissioner?
Yeah.
He was actually there before the original 6. He's the one who told.
8.
He survived multiple lockouts.
Yeah.
He told the Montreal Maroons, "You're done." That was his 7th team. Facts.
Way to go, Pearl. 855-212-4227. New segment. Perloff reads the internet. 855-212-4227. If you want to weigh in, would this be the worst collapse in the history of sports? Maggie and Perloff on this Monday. Lots more to do, including shows whole again. Everybody back together. We're excited about that. We mentioned all the things that happened on the weekend. We're going to touch them all. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. If the Florida Panthers lose tonight, is the worst collapse in sports history, at least team sports history. Call us 855-212-4227. I think if you're a neutral party, you kind of got to root Oilers. I'm sorry, because there's so much history on the line. Canada, as you mentioned, hasn't won since '93. Connor McDavid. I'm all about rooting for Connor McDavid. Let's go Oilers. I don't know if they have a chance. I know they have an unofficial mascot, and she was in Playboy this weekend.
I saw that. How about Kate?
Yeah.
You know, Bogusch, thank you. Bogusch is back from vacation, and the first thing he does is bring it to our attention that she's in Playboy. So way to fill your role.
Yeah.
We're
Bogusch,
all counting on you.
I know my audience.
All the men here didn't need that brought to their attention.
Sorry, you broke the news to me.
He was in Playboy?
Wow.
Kind of classy, actually. Of all the ways this could have gone in this modern age, I thought Playboy was kind of a throwback.
Yeah, I don't know if Playboy is still what you think it is. I heard, is it still a magazine? Is she in a magazine? I heard that it's on a podcast that it's like OnlyFans now. Playboy does a different model than we are used to. This is an online thing, but I have no idea what.
They pivoted to video a few years too late.
Yeah, basically, like it's a subscription service where I think you get to.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a magazine, but I'm not sure about that.
I am
will not
also
be searching on these computers, by the way. They're fine.
Yeah, I did want to look
Go
into
to a
that.
Subway newsstand and see what's in the back.
I am also unaware of their business model. I, in fact, almost wanted to resend because I don't follow the Playboy Club that tweeted about her arrival.
Not on your main account.
It was somebody else quote tweeting that, and I was like, maybe I should send the whole string to them so they don't think I follow this account. But yeah, I don't. If there is a magazine, I don't think she's in the magazine. I think she's just online
All right.
only.
Well,
Yeah.
I had the stones to Google it.
My source, by the way, is part of my Take podcast, which did about 45 minutes on this actual story.
Yeah, you could do.
They're allowed to actually go on the internet. So what did you find, Meg?
I'll take the hit for everybody. Playboy now, as of March 2023, is an online first magazine with a digital version and an exclusive online creator platform.
Oh, that's not what you want to hear.
And take some of the mystery out
Well,
of it.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds like OnlyFans.
The
Wasn't
USA
only-
Today article, Playboy is relaunching with OnlyFans-esque platform.
Right. So that's a far stretch from you have a topless woman and an article by Norman Mailer day of Playboy.
And
That's
talking
what
about
I'm
his
saying.
depression after, the war. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
By
But
the
the
way,
people who said they were buying Playboy for the articles, I mean,
yeah, I've been to the Playboy Mansion, by the way. Has anyone else been here?
whoa.
Of course
That's
not.
cool.
It was
Humble brag.
pathetic.
Get lost?
It was not worth bragging about. I saw it maybe 20 years after the party ended. It was.
I thought you were going to say 20 sets of, I wouldn't know where you were
It
going
was
with the
so
number
depressing.
20.
I can't even tell you. It was. It turned into like a museum of the Playboy Mansion, and it was not what you thought. There was
Wait.
not Rob Lowe hooking up in the grotto.
Wait, was Hugh there?
No, he was somewhere in the Playboy. He was not down and mixing up with people.
Who was the most famous person who was at the party besides
No
you
one.
and Paulie?
It was me, Paulie, Seaton, and Fritzy. The four
Was
Danettes.
Dan there?
No.
I don't know.
No, I know. It's a good question. No, it was the premiere of a movie that they were showing. So they had a screening.
Debbie Does Dallas? What movie are they showing in the Playboy Mansion? It's only.
It was like a sports movie. It was a PG-13 movie. It had nothing. It was nothing adult about
I'm
it.
not showing Muzzy.
And I got to tell you,
It's like, hey guys, it's what's the new one that came out?
Here's Mighty Ducks 3.
What did you just say was great about The girl, it's like about kids growing up, the animated movie.
Inside Out?
Inside Out. It's like we're showing Inside Out 2, where, the grotto.
How can you not know it? By the way, don't discount Inside Out 2 is the movie of the year. Should win the Oscar, in my opinion. But that's besides the point. How can you not know Inside Out 2?
I'm just, I
You're
didn't
not at the
know.
right age. Anyway, the thing about it was there was a grotto and there were these towels, and someone's like, "Yeah, now they charge per towel." It's like a New York sports club. It's terrible. It was not. It was
Who's
not,
wearing towels? Isn't the whole point you're not wearing a towel?
Well, when you get out of the grotto, it was not what you thought it was.
Imagine what's swimming around in that grotto.
No,
you
now
would
that
need
grotto
so much chlorine.
Get your ankle treated in there.
no longer.
The scabies back.
Now you could bring your kids swim in that grotto. It is. There's nothing adult about the Playboy Mansion anymore. It's sort of like a museum, and it was not cool. It was nothing like it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Maybe you're just at the wrong party.
No, people were telling us like, yeah. I mean, come on. Did you follow Hugh in the last several years or see the show?
No.
Yeah. It's not cool. Did anyone ever see the show where his young wives are
Yeah,
like
with
20?
Girls Next Door, you think it
Yes.
was called?
Yes.
We're vaguely familiar with it.
It's not good. By the way, related, me and my family sat down and watched all 8 episodes of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders documentary on Netflix. And that is also
that story
not like the
has
70s.
changed from last night. When you said my wife and daughter have gotten really into.
Yeah, no, now I watched
I've
48.
seen all 8.
Yes.
Yeah, we did not turn it off. It is the most fascinating group. And that also is, I'll just say, is nothing erotic about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. It went from whatever it was in the 70s and 80s to this hardcore dance team where basically, like, if you're not like a perfect athlete, you have no chance of making the team. It is, it's wild. The good times are over, Maggie.
Well, not with Kate, the Edmonton Oiler fan. She's bringing it back. One flash at a time.
There's a bit of an elephant. Are we going to talk about the other internet sensation this weekend, or are we just all going to leave that on the side?
Wait, what?
Pete knows what you're talking about. I don't know what you're
Bryce
talking
Harper's girl?
Yeah, there was a bit of an internet trend. Maggie, you cannot possibly have missed that one.
My
don't know what you're
kid's
talking about.
5th birthday party, my husband's 40th birthday
you
party.
don't
I'm
know?
totally out of the
about. No,
loop.
I had family over. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're kidding, right?
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Wait, what
You had family
happened?
over for
Just tell
72
us.
straight hours?
You guys have missed it.
Bryce
No.
Harper's girl? I don't know anything about this.
His wife?
No. So,
This is all you, bogus.
yeah. So this started.
All right, newsman.
Online.
Do you want to read the sponsor or whoever?
No, they don't want to sponsor
Oh,
this
okay.
part. A nice lady online created a little social media fire, and Bryce Harper paid homage to it after like a double the other day.
And there's also a bunch of
Was
Oilers.
that the? Oh.
Yeah, you've seen
Yeah,
it.
now
I don't
you've
know
seen
what,
it.
I don't know what Bryce did, but I think I know what you're talking about. Now.
He did the motion.
And then the Oilers.
He
there
did a
was-
spitting
Yeah.
Right.
thing.
Oh, that chick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know the
you've
Bryce
seen-
Harper connection.
Yeah.
The girl, the Hawk 2 girl?
Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah, I was like, wait, how could
But
you
you
miss
guys
that?
put Bryce Harper into it. And I'm
yeah,
like,
Because I
Exactly.
saw that last night. I was like, all right, good job, Bryce Harper.
Was a Saturday night. Bryce Harper hit a double and impersonated her at second
Okay.
base, which is bizarre.
it was that story of the woman going viral for giving this very, can I describe? She did this very candid interview, like a man on the street with people who are obviously out partying. And she's clearly loose. And she starts describing, they're asking about
What's the best trick in bed,
bed
or
and
did it
stuff- and
always
things
work,
like that.
something
Right.
like that.
And so she does this thing, whatever, and it goes wildly viral, right? And I didn't understand why people caught on to this thing in a way that was like kind of surprising to me.
I've been trying to avoid these videos like the plague. Our former boss Spike Essen talks about them all the time. Like, once they find a way into my algorithm, I do
forget it.
everything to, like, get rid of them. Because it's always just, like, guys asking girls their body counts or something weird like that.
Right, in front of their boyfriend.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
these awkward things.
It's always awful. And somehow this girl, like, she surpassed that and she cracked the code because now she was everywhere.
But no one can find her, apparently, right? Like, no one
Yeah.
can find her real identity.
So I was
Just
talking
wait.
to our buddies over at WFAN today. I guess WFAN ran with a fake report that she lost her teaching job, which has now been debunked already.
Oh, she's a teacher?
I have no idea if she's even a
everyone's
teacher, but
gotta
there's
let
so
their hair
many
down.
rumors about her, and we don't even know what's going on. But apparently a lot of Oilers fans showed up with Hawk Tua jerseys on their back instead of
grief.
McDavid. Tua Tagovailoa commented publicly on this. Like, it's gotten
What
into
did
this.
Tua say?
He's like, I think he made a joke about it, I believe.
So there's a couple things here. One is Well, clearly they're partying when they're being asked these questions.
Yeah.
Penix.
Yeah. That's our next man
I
on the
was not
street.
partying when I said that.
No, Perloff was stone cold sober when he said that. You could always, the dead giveaway is when someone's talking and their tongue is a shade of a color that's clear that you've been drinking something that like
a blue,
like blue or green or purple.
Yeah.
It's like
someone's got a fishbowl dish, a fishbowl drink.
it's like you weren't just drinking; you had the scorpion bowl, and it's all
By
over your
yourself.
face. There's nothing where you will lose credibility faster than if you are an adult and your tongue is like purple. Kids, it's something else. For an adult, that is a rough look. So
Well, people,
that's all I'll leave it.
it's funny. People like this because her Southern accent is hysterical
Yes.
too.
And her friend is like mortified by her answer.
Yeah,
Like they're next to her in the video.
it strangely seems very harmless in a
Also,
bizarre way.
The person holding the camera and the microphone, they knew they saw her probably 50 yards away.
Yeah,
And
but
they're
even
like,
this probably
"Get us
exceeded
that girl."
expectations.
Yeah, I'm sure. I wonder when this happened. Are we time-stamped?
No, it felt like it happened a while ago and just made the internets last week.
Man. All right. I didn't see that Bryce Harper,
That was weird.
Did
Because I
a
thought
send
Bryce
up.
Harper was,
religious dude.
a religious dude, and it was weird.
And then 2 videos of him this weekend. That one, and then him dancing on the field with his daughter at like a post-game concert in Philly.
What a
Whiplash.
juxtaposition those are.
All right. Well, he's multifaceted, dude.
But I do think that it's going to be like fantasy football day. Like everyone's going to use
Yes.
this. It's going to
This is in our
become
lives now.
It become a thing. I have to admit, my guy friends were all texting it to each other. Just the two words. It's
I
become
think
like
this will go away in 2 weeks.
Maybe it's become like
Feels like
aloha. It
feels
can be
like
used for
flash
anything.
It's a lullaby?
Yeah. No, like aloha. Like like people were
Aloha.
saying it's like a goodbye and a hello.
Right.
Like everyone said, all right, guys,
It's
have a good
universal.
weekend. Haktua. Yeah, it's become like
How do you feel, huh, Haktua?
yeah, no, it's become a term that's just used to evoke positive emotions.
Yeah, have a good day.
Yeah, that's how people are using it. I'm not kidding.
I'm telling you, do not end a meeting with this. Like, logging off the Zoom. All right, everybody, good meeting. We're going to circle back on that PowerPoint presentation and a hawk to it, you all.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend. All right, get back to those TPS reports.
Yeah. No,
Don't bring this into the office. We can do this because we are in a sandbox.
No, I'm not sure you're right about this. It's become quite mainstream. Like people have nothing to do with sports, obviously, or just using it randomly in a casual way. I think there's something a little harmless about the whole thing. Myself, I don't think this is one where we have to really worry about.
No, I agree.
Like for her, like she shouldn't be in trouble for it.
No, just like
Cancel?
Yeah, no.
No, I didn't. Like, also, too, it's not like, maybe I'm wrong, Dave. It's not a story that we have to be super sensitive around. I don't think, you don't seem sensitive about it.
No, she
Yeah.
didn't say it. I was against my will. This
Yeah.
is a totally different thing. I mean, listen, we could get into the patriarchy, but I don't think today.
But the funny thing, too, is to me, like, the big takeaway is Tua Tagovailoa is just now stuck with this. Right? Like, he's going to sign his big contract next week, and what do you think people are going to say?
Spit
Because if
on
it gets
it?
2 weeks of fame, then he'll be in that 2-week window. You don't
Does
think
he
that's...
sign it and spit?
I don't know.
All right, let's get to some other headlines.
Yeah, sure. They're all sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Good luck following that, Bogusch.
Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance. A costly win for the Mets last night at Wrigley. Jake Diekman recorded the final out of the 5-2 victory because usual closer Edwin Diaz got tossed before throwing a pitch because of a sticky right hand. He said he was just using rosin, dirt, and sweat like usual.
They always tell me that they let me pitch, but today was hotter than early in the season, so I don't know. They thought it was stickier, so I take the suspension.
There's probably a Hawk Tua joke in here too, but I didn't know we were going to do that. It's an automatic 10-game suspension for Diaz. Crew chief Vic Carapazos, who threw him out during the game. He then told a pool reporter whatever was on Diaz's hand was not just rosin and sweat.
How often does this happen now? Sorry.
Okay.
This
is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
He would be the 9th pitcher suspended, the 3rd Met. They're the only team with multiple, whatever you want to, cheats. I don't know.
It's that can-do attitude that's getting them right back into
that
this
what it
wild
is?
card race. Yep.
As for the game, the Mets have won 9 of their last 11 now, 4 straight series. There is still college baseball as well. Tennessee held off Texas A&M yesterday afternoon in Omaha, 4-1, forcing a third and decisive game tonight. A quick start for U.S. men's soccer in the Copa America.
Shorts away. Pulisic has it back now through the traffic. Pulisic, what a goal! What a start for the United States!
That's John Strong on Fox. Christian Pulisic scoring in just the 3rd minute of their opener against Bolivia in Dallas. He then set up the other American goal just before halftime.
We came out flying with a lot of intensity. Obviously, the early goal helped us a lot. And, I mean, all around a pretty dominant performance. I think we could have put it away and had a couple more goals there, but definitely a really good start from the guys.
That is also from Fox. Pulisic and the Americans winning 2-0. They face Panama on Thursday in Atlanta. 34-year-old Amy Yang won the Women's PGA Championship yesterday. It's her first major title. She's their oldest major winner since 2018. And Jaylen Brown needs your help. The Celtic star lost a fancy ring during Friday's victory parade.
Oh, what a shame.
Obviously not the championship ring. We have seen pictures on social media. Brown asking for help finding it, offering a big reward. The ring's got plenty of diamonds. It says Juice on it with the J being Brown's number 7. Instead, it's the logo of his sportswear brand.
Yeah, someone's going to bring that back.
I don't think I would.
Well, how do you monetize it though? Like you can't sell it because people are going to know it belongs to Jaylen Brown.
I kind of would just want to have it. I think. Like, what's he going to give me? Like 10 grand?
A lot of money.
A lot though. Like, what's a lot?
How much? I mean, 10 grand is a lot of money.
No, I know, but like,
yeah,
but like, what's
I take that tomorrow.
Wait, hold on. You're gonna hold a guy's ring hostage and charge him 10 grand?
Not hostage. Like,
you guys are awful.
No, not hostage. Just be like, I got it, and like show my friends, and that's like that. My first inclination would be like to keep it on the sly.
So you're just gonna like have it in your sock drawer somewhere,
here's
just
Jaylen
like
Brown. Yeah, like if you're a diehard Celtics fan and you're the guy with Jaylen Brown's missing juice ring, I don't know.
I just feel like I'd be more inclined to keep the championship ring than this ring.
Oh, well, sure, yeah.
Well, okay, I just want to make sure we're.
But
all clear on that, but
I think either of these rings, you at some point say you needed money, you'd want to sell it, and that's where you run into trouble,
right?
But to show it to your friends, that doesn't make any sense. I would give it back to Jaylen Brown and hope that he gives me $10,000.
Or take, I mean,
yeah.
Is $10,000 feels a little heavy.
Oh, he's only the richest athlete in the world.
Well, yeah, we know that, but
this ring has like a million diamonds on it.
Well, that's the
I
thing,
wouldn't
like,
be expecting 10 grand. It's not like a $10,000 reward like Billy the Kid's out there. It's like a wanted poster.
Wanted dead or alive.
Yeah.
Well, how much is the ring worth?
I was gonna say I haven't seen a value on the ring yet.
I would guess $500,000.
Well, he's gonna have insurance on this, so just get a new one. Yeah, he could do that too.
Yeah, then why is he even asking for this ring? That's a good. I didn't even think about that.
Why are you wearing it to the parade?
I thought about that too.
Come on.
If it's not a championship ring, you shouldn't be wearing it at the parade.
Well, you can't wear championship rings anymore. They're ridiculous. They're not even made to be
that
worn.
too. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
You know all the chaos that happens at these parades? You're going to wear something so valuable? Let me put it in a safe and then go to the parade.
But how are you so certain?
Right.
Mag, how are you so certain he has insurance on this particular ring? I know nothing about it.
You're asking if it's $500,000.
I don't know. Jaylen Brown's awfully busy. Are you sure that he has all the paperwork? I mean, the dude was out there winning an NBA title.
Yeah, I mean, insurance for your jewelry and stuff like that, it's not this like heavy burden. It's really it's just better to have it.
I will take your word for it. I have no idea.
I
felt like Jaylen Brown was on a heater recently. Between winning the Finals MVP, he was spotted with one of the WNBA women that a lot of these men really enjoy. Like
a player?
Yeah.
Romantically.
Yeah, well, she was holding his finals trophy, his Finals MVP trophy.
Wow.
Can you say her name?
Cool. Her first name I always have trouble with, Kiersey Gonstreak. She's a player on the Chicago Sky, actually. But so everybody's like, "Oh man, Jaylen Brown is on this winning streak," and then I hear about the ring. I'm like, "Come on, dude!" Like
the universe balancing.
Yeah. Baseball,
never get too high.
Baseball all evens out, right?
I still think he had a pretty good week on
balance.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
And he's online saying, "Hey, someone help make my ring." I mean, a great week, but really damper at the end.
It's also kind of a great story, though. If he does get the ring back, that'd be a feel-good story. Unless it's Bogusch, who's going to send him a note, cut out of magazines,
letters, 100%.
old Playboys, because obviously Playboy doesn't exist as a magazine anymore, which we just found out.
Maybe she has it.
Kate?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Where could she be hiding it, though? Because
I have
we
a couple
see
of
everything.
This is an insane segment.
Is it?
Kind of a regular Monday for us.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I'm done.
All right, cool. Thank you for all of that.
Calling all boobs. Hey, that worked, by the way. That was the last time I was here. They haven't lost since I made the call. The boobs answered.
It's like a
Now you want a little credit for that?
Yeah.
First you won $10,000 from Jaylen Brown because you're holding his ring hostage.
Yep.
Now you want credit?
No. He won't even take the $10,000. He wants to show his buddies at the party.
You'll never know I have
Hey,
it.
guess what I got upstairs? Jaylen Brown's ring.
Juice
What
ring.
could Bogusch
I
have
actually
at his
think-
house? Do you have
yeah,
like
I
an
think-
original
yeah.
signed copy of the Declaration of Independence?
I
Just
might.
in the closet.
Yeah.
He probably has this ring.
Bogusch?
Yeah, the way he was talking, I already keep it. I think you have it. You've been gone for a week.
I
You've
was
done
in
some
Boston on
traveling.
Friday.
And by the way, all your friends will be like, "You have the championship ring," and you're like, "No, it's not the
It
championship
says
ring.
juice on it.
It says juice. I have the juice ring."
What's that?
I guarantee you, whoever has this ring, if they do try to sell it, they can definitely trick somebody thinking it's the championship ring.
Oh yeah.
You could have to, Jaylen Brown, add the Jaylen Brown's ring from the parade, championship parade. Just say those words or put it online. Like someone will be like, "Oh, that's championship ring. I'll pay whatever." Like that 10,000 number is gonna be low.
I know,
You may have to
but
go higher than that.
And
You're
you'll
not
see-
going to have it for long because they're going to be monitoring this, right?
Well, I mean, you might see it in 15 years on one of those antique shows. Oh, hey, yeah, I bought it in an auction at Christie's,
Yeah.
and here it is now. I want to get money for it.
It was
But I
my
stole
great
it.
uncle Bogusch's. It was hidden behind a false bottom.
I love how the great nephew refers to Andrew Bogusch as great uncle Bogusch. As his last name probably is also Bogusch.
Great family.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm like, why does that sound so wrong? Right, because you don't refer to an uncle by his last name. Here's my Uncle Perloff.
They don't speak of the third person in that family.
All right. Thank you all. Coming up, we get a new.
You're welcome.
No, we do get. How about someone chasing down Tiger? Let's do this. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
This is it, folks. The grand finale under the golden arches of the stadium.
Tune in, Maggie and Perloff on the dial, but it's just another show that's missing the style. Got your takes, but they're colder than the winter foul. When I come through, I'ma light it up, watch you wow. Try to run the game, but you're just in denial. I got the truth, keep it 100, no trial. Perloff, you're just a stat on a pile. Maggie, step up, but you're missing by a mile. It's game over when I step into the booth. My words cut deep, yeah, they're the living proof. Enemy, you just seem to miss the youth. Try to hit the mark, but you're just uncouth. Talking big, but your points ain't sticking. My lines flow like a plot beginning. You're just shadows in the game flickering. I'm the headline, forever ticket ticking. Behind the scenes, EJ Stewart switching lanes. Belotti's got the keys, but can't start the flames. Got a line on the set, but it's just a single game. Need a new playbook, cause yours is just lame. And your Bogusch with the updates coming fast, but even he can't save you, you're in the past. Games changing, better bracket broadcast, cause I'm laying down tracks, and they're built to last. You aim high, but fall so flat. Trying to swing, but where's the bat? In this game, I'm the aristocrat, and you just fade, just another stat. So here's a toast to the lessons taught. Drinks in the house, and I'm taking my shot. Game set, match like you're not. Maggie and Perloff, give it all you got. It's all love, just spitting the art. From the north, I shoot straight from the heart.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Scottie Scheffler comes out of the chaos in Connecticut with another tournament title.
If that was only the whole story. Hey, welcome to the show. Thank you, Jim Nance, for that. Scottie Scheffler wins again, this time the Travelers Championship, Perloff. But you may have heard there was some major disruption that happened at the end of this tournament where Scottie Scheffler and Tom Kim both coming down the 18th hole when protesters, climate change protesters, ran onto the 18th green. They had like red and white powder, flare kind of things that they set off. They're running all around the greens, and the cops are trying to chase them. And to be fair, the cops actually did a great job. They got them down pretty fast, but not before they kind of trounced and trampled all over the greens. What ends up happening is Kim ends up birdieing that hole to force a one-hole playoff. Scottie Scheffler wins the tournament. It's his 6th win of the season. But the protesters thing completely threw everyone off.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny, too, because of the backstory with Scottie Scheffler getting arrested and then really competing in Valhalla.
PGA, yep.
So this guy is unflappable. I mean, he didn't really, he didn't play well at the U.S. Open, but it's amazing. Like, it doesn't seem like anything gets to him, which I think was one of the most interesting things about him is he's so non-interesting in a way. He's just like steady Eddie, Scottie Scheffler. That's his superpower.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that part of it in a second. I've never seen anything like this at a golf tournament. This is not your normal stuff here. And this was a group based out of New York City. The tournament was in Connecticut, and there's been a few climate change protests that have happened this weekend. In fact.
Oh, okay. I mean, the Timberwolves obviously had this thing
the
where
person was like glued themselves to the floor.
There was. I mean, and there was like a regular thing where there was all the security waiting for. I think it was always the Timberwolves. I'm not sure, but we've certainly seen this. I mean, it's an effective protest because everybody saw the guys in the shirts, and it was that was wild. Especially too, you mentioned the green, like. This is a sensitive playing field here. It's not like a football field that you can just chew up. It's totally wild.
I mean, I feel like you basically get ostracized from professional golf if you even walk near somebody's like line of sight on a putting green. But obviously the protesters don't care about any of that stuff. They want to get their message out. They there was another group of protesters. I don't think it was the same one that like they threw stuff on Taylor Swift's plane, to kind of bring attention to climate change. We've seen people just like sit down on highways, back up traffic for hours and hours. I mean, so many things. So this time it goes into golf, coincides. And you're right about Scheffler being unflappable. And now he's doing something that continues to put himself in this rarefied air. 6 wins that he's had now before July has even started. He was asked about it.
Yeah, it's pretty special. You know, it's been a great season. You know, I've been fortunate to come away with some wins, and it's been a lot of fun. You know, Tom played his heart out today. You know, he's a great player, great champion. It was fun battling with him today.
Right. So this is something that hasn't been done since Arnold Palmer in 1962. Tiger Woods also in this category, Perloff, in terms of all these wins to start off a season. And we still have, you know, a lot more golf to be played here. I think this is a big deal. Now, he won the Masters, so he does have a major for the second time. He does have a major in these 6 wins, but there are 5 PGA Tour wins and then the Masters. I think this is massive.
I don't. Nobody remembers the non-majors. Remember when Tiger came back from all his injuries and all the drama and won a bunch of majors in 2013, even won, I think, PGA Golfer of the Year? Won a bunch of PGA tournaments, but it didn't win a major, and it was considered a failure. I'm sorry, that's where Scottie is. So, and also, PGA's watered down. All the good golfers are over at LIV. I do not think that this matters historically because he's got to win the major. So July 18th is the Open Championship. Let's see how he does there because he's already in the discussion. We're not even talking about him winning this tournament. We're talking, can he at least make some noise chasing a major record because he's a dominant golfer? So to me, I'm sorry, this doesn't move the needle.
Okay, so why I think you make a good point about a lot of the LIV golfers are some of the best in the field. So maybe is he taking advantage of a bit of a watered down field? But what I think matters about this stuff is like the behind the scenes part of it, which is maybe you care about the majors or I care about the majors, and that's sort of, you know, the top of line stuff that we care about. But I think when you keep racking up these PGA Tour wins, it creates an intimidation factor amongst the other golfers. They're the ones who are seeing you just absolutely crush week after week. And I think a lot of, you know, there was like Tiger earned everything that he got, but there was also the Tiger mystique. Mm-hmm. And that was about the majors, sure, but that was about him being able to come from behind at any time. Like golfers knew, I think there was a mental edge that Tiger had, and that wasn't just born out of the majors. That was born out of being a champion over and over and over. And it's like Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't kill this guy. And I think Scottie Scheffler is doing a lot for that. Like, his reputation on tour, guys know he's unflappable. You know, he's low key, but he's a killer. You know, all these things. When it's you versus him, do you don't think Tom Kim, there was any part of him? I'm not saying that he's a weak mentally golfer, right, but you don't think there was any part of him that got intimidated yesterday because he's like, I'm going up against Scottie Scheffler. He's the best in the world, and I know that.
Probably.
He's also 22.
I totally agree with that. That's Tom Kim, though. What about Brooks Koepka? What about Bryson DeChambeau? What about these guys? I mean, certainly not Koepka. He's definitely not intimidated in a major because that's when he shines.
Yep.
I just don't think at that level, it's not quite a Tiger level to me partly because those guys are not with him week to week. The guys he's probably going to compete with in the majors. And also I wonder, so Scheffler has done well at the British Open, but he hasn't really been competing to win it yet. So at the Open Championship, you know, there's a very different style of courses.
No
doubt. Is he going to have that sort of dominance there? I don't think he's intimidating everybody there. So maybe
he's
at the Masters.
Still number one, though.
Yeah, but I that doesn't mean anything really when you're talking about a major because it's always just a unpredictable group at the top. I just think there are a lot of great golfers right now. I understand your logic. I'm not sure that Scheffler is scaring some of the very, very top guys. I mean, Rory might be scared because of what's going on lately.
Well, Rory's got to regroup.
Yeah, but I understand your logic and it makes sense. I guarantee you're right. Tom Kim was feeling it, but I don't know if that counts against if he's on the back nine, like in the British Open. Look who he'll be against, like huge names.
Yeah, fair. 855-212-4227. Scottie Scheffler wins again, even after the tournament was disrupted by climate change protesters on the 18th green. Just wild scene in Connecticut. Coming up, we get a new chapter in Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese's rivalry. We'll tell you about it next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
genius, that's no lie. Peter's in bacon heaven, reaching for the sky. Wendy's bacon makes Peter so glad. One bite, he's the happiest lad. Crispy, crunchy, bacon delight. Peter's in bliss, morning, noon, and night. He orders a stack, can't get enough. Wendy's bacon is his favorite stuff. Singing sonnets to Tom Glevin's brain. Oh, Glevin's brain, it's on the train. Running through the strategies and games. Peter loves it more each day. Shouts hooray for Glevin's brain. In every game while others cheer for strikes and all the pain. Peter's got his notebook out, jotting insights from the game. Look at the play, what a scheme, he'll loudly exclaim. Who needs a homer when you've got Glevin's brain? Oh, Glevin's brain, it's on the train, fighting through the strategies and games. Peter loves it more each day, shouts hooray for Glevin's brain. While fans go wild for curveballs that spin, Peter's analyzing the genius within. From tactic close to the mental domain, he's all about the cerebrum game. Oh, Glevin's brain, it's on the train. Riding through. Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating lakes for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs. To a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaurs battles.
I know it's just a regular season game, Perloff, but it felt so much bigger than that. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. What am I talking about? Yesterday, round 3, Fever versus Sky. Round 3, you know what I mean. Third matchup of the season. The Fever had won the first 2. Chicago comes back from being down 15 points, Pearl, in this game. They win. It was frenetic and crazy chaotic in the last final seconds. And Angel Reese really put her stamp on this game. Sold out crowd, Chance the Rapper's in the front row. Everyone's going absolutely nuts. And Angel was the star here. And if you're watching this game, Caitlin wasn't. You know, in the fourth quarter, she hit 2 threes. None of them felt like monster threes, though. And she really, at times, didn't even have the ball in her hand when she probably should have had the ball in her hand. Aaliyah Boston, for her teammate, actually hit a huge shot you thought might have turned the tide. But it was the Angel Reese show. And I think that's important for this rivalry. You know, Angel got the best of Caitlin in the women's NCAA tournament the first time when they met in the finals, right? And she won that one. And then LSU lost the rematch the next year. Caitlin goes on to the championship game. Obviously, they lose to South Carolina. I think it's really important for this rivalry. First of all, it's important for the league. Angel's got to also win. and she's got the one up from college. It's important for her and her team to keep winning and even and balance this thing out. I thought yesterday, regular season felt like a lot was on the line though.
So, okay, so the Fever are 7-11 right now, and the Sky are 6-9. How do you put this in historical terms? Because it's not going to be Bird Magic in the sense that they're not going to come into the WNBA and win instantly.
Right.
So you got to give it a little time because of the teams they're on. So is there another analogy of how this rivalry is going to work? Or are they going to eventually have to get to Magic and Bird where they're seeing each other in the finals for it to pay off? Like what's the expectation?
It's a great question. How I feel like it's shaping up for me right now, as we're talking about WNBA yesterday, Angel Reese's Sky beats Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever. I think what would be very cool for this first season, both teams are battling for the last spot of the playoffs. They need to get in. And they're not going to face each other, obviously, because the seeding's not going to work that way. But it'd be cool if they're maybe battling for that last spot. There's got to just be, anytime there's even a little bit of stakes, you know this, put $5 on a game. Suddenly you're going to feel and watch that game a lot differently. It doesn't have to be much. I just think both teams vying for a playoff spot would make this big for this first season. Because, both of these teams aren't very good. However, they're playing a lot better lately. So you could see a lot of growth, a lot of improvement. I think making the playoffs would be massive. Part
of that, too, is their schedules have calmed down a little bit.
True.
I mean, I totally agree with you that here's another problem with the rivalry. And I don't know what to make of it. Now, Magic and Bird didn't play the same position, but Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are very different players.
They are.
Which is kind of funny to me. And I think they realize that too. Sometimes I feel like they kind of wink at this whole rivalry a little bit because they know they're not like covering each other or matching up in any sense. And Angel Reese dominated in a completely different way than Caitlin Clark. So I wonder about that too. But I totally agree this is huge for rivalry. And last night's game did have a lot of juice to it. But it's hard for me to peg this one. I've always had trouble. And I wonder too if both of them will end up having even bigger rivals in their WNBA career.
Well,
like Angel Reese could have somebody inside who she goes head to head with. And Caitlin Clark could have an outside player that she goes head to head. I don't think that's done either. I think other rivals will emerge.
Yeah, you're right about that. Let's hear from Angel Reese. After the game, she was asked about the Caitlin Clark rivalry.
It's just good competition. I'm happy. I mean, they still got us. They got one up on us, so I'm just happy for the team, and I want to make it about us. I just want our team. Chicago, they came out tonight, so I'm just happy for us.
More from Angel on the importance of the big crowd to see her and Caitlin.
Of course, it's good for the game, good for women's basketball, but also good for women's sports. You see NBA players, rappers, legends that have played in the league for a long time come out and show support. So, everybody's watching right now. I think it's just one of the most important times right now. We just continue to keep putting on. I think both teams tonight did an amazing job putting on a show.
They really did. The game definitely delivered in terms of excitement, except for at the very end when there was like some ridiculous clock situation. The WA's got to figure out the end of these games, because I've watched a few now where it's just brutal. And college basketball on the men's side has had this, and the women's side. Just you had this great ending, and then you need to put 0.2 seconds left on the clock, and the referees can't figure it out. And I was very annoyed by the end of that game. But that's a side note. It was a great game. It totally delivered. Sellout crowd. Caitlin's asking, why are we not playing in the United Center? We should have been playing in a bigger arena. It is a hot ticket. Did you see online? I didn't confirm this, so I'm going now with speculation. It was like $350 to get in.
Yeah. By the way, Chance getting a lot of play for this. I haven't seen him in a while at games.
Oh, yeah.
Chance the Rapper. Now apparently that was a big deal.
A little rough time for him recently.
Yeah.
Wait, which side of the Kendrick Drake thing was he on?
None, but he got a divorce recently. So
is that why? Yeah, it feels like he's been low key for a while. Also, Chicago sports haven't given much to cheer for. I think that's part of.
Well, they got Caitlin Williams now too, so this is gonna be a fun time.
Well, yeah, but
Chicago back on the come up, baby.
Yeah. And honestly, the Angel and Camila Cardozo, who's also great. It's funny that she doesn't even make it into this conversation. She was phenomenal yesterday. She was the higher draft pick from the Sky. Obviously, she went 2 overall.
I was thinking about what's an analogy for what either of these stars can do in the playoffs. They're going to be the 8 seed, most likely, if anything. So they're not going to beat the Liberty, right? That's not on the table.
No chance.
So
We've
Michael
already watched
Jordan,
some of this. It's been a slaughter.
Michael Jordan, in his second year with the Bulls, I remember that was the year he was hurt most of the year and came back. I think the way he came back in the playoffs and scored 63 against the Celtics, one of the most famous playoff games ever, and had no chance of winning the title, but still sort of birthed his legend in that game. So either one of these stars can get into the playoffs and have a monster game and add to the mystique, even if they have no chance of getting to the finals.
No, I think it's important. Yeah.
I think what might be bigger than even getting to the playoffs for either team, though, I think it's probably one of the teams. I don't know if both get in. I think what's great is you have a real Rookie of the Year race that's now here. Like, we talked about whether or not this could be a rivalry on the college level. It obviously was. And it's all right, well, how do you take this to WNBA level? We're playing on two bad teams. Well, this is it. Like, remember when Carmelo and LeBron were going for that Rookie of the Year, both teams, LeBron was not good, but the fact that they were in this Rookie of the Year race made that first year interesting, as we were hoping to see if maybe LeBron would have a rival early in his career. The fact that Angel and Caitlin are not going to be mano-a-mano, of course, Cameron Brink unfortunately tore her ACL.
Yeah.
You got two women that are going to be just gunning for this award. I think that'll make the end of the season pretty interesting.
Got that also. The one thing, though, about that is it's a great point, EJ. It's just that award's subjective. You know, it's like beauty's in the eye of the beholder because they don't play the same position. No, you're right. It's going to foster endless debate. But I also like the winning-losing aspect of it. It's like, who won yesterday, right? And again, they're not playing one-on-one basketball. They're playing team basketball. But still, like, I love that aspect of it. Like, Chicago got one off of the Fever. That helps. And
Angel Reese mentioned that, hey, they have two, we have one. So they have one up on us. So she mentioned that as well. I just think we talk about MVP awards. Oh, we got another award from the 80s we're going to be talking about a little later. Like,
yeah, we will.
We love award races. Like in baseball, you know, any kind of race for an award. Like, I think that's going to be huge, especially as we get later into the season. They're going to be neck and neck. The field's kind of cleared out, so that's going to be fun.
It's awesome. Good stakes.
Nobody cares about the MVP because all the attention's on the rookies this year. I mean, that's obvious, right?
Yeah,
that's the award right now, I think.
Are there odds on this? Probably not in this state.
I would think Caitlin's still a front runner.
Angel Reese is having a really good year. She's going to make it tough.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder also too. People are going to get mad about whichever way it goes.
So
that's why I think this is why they need this.
Yeah.
No,
you're right.
I think they're going to get mad. You're right. They're going to get mad no matter which way it goes. You're right about that because they're going to be mad if Caitlin loses.
I mean, there's a lot of positivity, but there's an incredible amount of anger around both these.
It died down for like a week.
Yeah.
It felt great. It felt like it was things had cooled off a little bit.
So nice to see basketball. Yeah, we'll see. People are, I'm looking at the stats. So Angel Reese's rebounding numbers are just ridiculous.
So she's like making history with, her double-doubles.
It's funny, too, but she's not, she's a little like Charles Barkley. She just knows where to be. She doesn't jump that high, and she's not taller than anybody, but man, she dominates. And Caitlin's numbers, I know she's not going to get that 20. They're pretty good, too. I wonder if they'll just vote for the higher score and not look at everything.
Again, it's going to all be subjective. And Caitlin's got all the assists, but she's also got the turnovers. You know, it's both. Man.
I would be surprised if Caitlin doesn't win. I would be more surprised if this is not a endless controversy debate that lasts for weeks after the award's given out.
Well, because I think that listen, we still got a lot of season to play, but I bet if Caitlin wins, I would imagine Angel might have an opinion about it.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I can see that tweet already or that Instagram caption in my head right now.
Or her teammates.
Or Caitlin's teammates. You never know.
Let Caitlin Clark win this Rookie of the Year award and the Chicago Sky beat the Fever for the last spot in the playoffs. Watch that conversation.
It's what we call a perfect storm.
855-212-4227. It was a great game yesterday. It was. Angel was fantastic. You're right. Yeah. It's not a one-on-one rivalry because they're not D'ing each other up, but at the same time, we all know what's going on.
That was sort of a dad joke about, isn't there a WNBA team called the Storm? Anyway, gone, the Seattle Storm. Who cares? Nobody cares.
855. Sorry, Father's Day was last week. We laughed at those jokes. There's a statute limitations on that. Okay, so much more to do, including, man, what a weekend this was. We'll get to the biggest moments in just a second. Sit tight. Maggie and Perloff, you want to watch the show? Come on in. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, where Perloff and I are matching again. Pete, we are all three now matching.
Oh, we're all wearing purple.
We're all in sync. Like, we're all in the same cycle.
That's right.
But purple, very regal color.
A nice Father's Day shirt for me.
Looks great. It's a good color on you.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the second compliment about my shirt today.
I would work in more pastels.
Bogusch said something nice too, but he didn't say it to your face.
No, he won't.
No, he would never
won't.
compliment
Told me
you.
that.
I told him nice shorts.
No.
Nice legs.
There you go.
That's what I told him.
Bring back that Playboy conversation from
Right. Hey, now.
I'm mad now because purple is my favorite color, and I didn't wear purple today.
EJ,
I screwed up.
Disappointed in you.
I know.
How are you going to come back from this? You can also listen to us on all our Infinity Sports Network affiliates who we love. We're obsessed with you. We think about you all the time. You can listen to us on the free Odyssey app. It's easy to download, and it's crystal clear. Sirius XM channel 158 as well.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
He's got something to say. Infinity's mice. He's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie Perloff, can you hear his plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free. He misses Mar. Co-stars and the crew, those were the days. Pete cries out, boo, boo. Bring it back, oh can't you see? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Let it be. Pete's mad, he's feeling sad. Bring it back, oh make it right.
1 minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We're back here on Maggie Perloff. I'm very curious to hear from our next caller because there is a buzz about the College World Series that you only get at a certain time of the year. In June, we go from the college softball, seems huge, and then the College World Series because ESPN, every time I go to watch SportsCenter, there is college baseball on, and now it's finally wrapping up tonight. So it seems like there's a lot of buzz around this, but it's kind of hard. Is it just the time of year? I'm curious.
Interesting moment, though, because you're going to have this decisive Game 3 of the College World Series going up against Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. One starts at 7. I think one starts at 8 Eastern time.
Yeah.
But this Game 7 for the Stanley Cup, I mean, I think this rating is going to be huge. How do you not tune in for this?
Yeah, I mean.
I have to do a free ad for ESPN, or ABC or whatever, but this is it.
I don't know because hockey ratings are never, even the big hockey ratings don't climb that high. So I'd be surprised. It's not going to be like NFL. Don't expect that.
Well, no. Don's in Ohio's got a thought on all this. Good morning, Don.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, that was another point tonight. I was talking to your producer about yesterday with Tennessee and A&M going on at the same time as the Chicago-Indiana game. What do you think brought more ratings?
Great question.
The Chicago, Indiana was on ABC, right?
No, it was on main ESPN.
Main ESPN, and where was the baseball?
ABC.
That was on ABC?
Right,
Yeah.
and also the soccer was on Fox at the same time, so that probably got a lot of eyeballs.
Was the Travelers on what, NBC? Was
No,
the golf?
CBS.
That was CBS?
Yeah,
All right, Jim.
I think the soccer might have gotten a huge rating, too.
I bet. Don,
USA.
we'll get those numbers probably later today. It's a fair question. What were you watching?
I watched the baseball game, and then I watched the fourth quarter of the basketball game.
Yeah.
I thought the game was at Indiana until I watched it on SportsCenter, and the game was in Chicago.
You know why, Don?
If Chicago was doing something, then the crowd was going nuts. It's like, why are they going so nuts at games in Indianapolis?
You know what, Don?
Indiana was in white, so I assumed, the game was at Indy. I didn't even pay attention to the sideline when it said Chicago.
Don, thank you for bringing this up. And I've been meaning to bring this up on the show. You're the best for doing it. Thank you. This bothers me to no end. And I feel like I've got nobody in my corner to back me up on this. Home should wear white, and away should wear whatever other color away has. This has always bothered me. I feel like I'm, old lady shouting at cloud. I know Bogusch just nodded. I feel like the dinosaur, but this is how I feel. I want home to wear white. Why can't we just do this?
It used to bother me, but now they wear so many different uniforms. I don't even know anymore. The Rangers. I think they're a team that's an exception. They should be wearing the blue at home.
Well, hockey does that.
Yeah, I think there's exceptions, but I'm with you on that. However, there's too many uniforms, so it really doesn't matter.
I know, but it's like, even if it's too many uniforms, they want to just keep selling us stuff like we're stuffed goose liver. Can the ones for the home be mostly white, and then the away jersey can be mostly whatever you are, black, purple, green, whatever it is. Just, can we have shades of some kind of white so I can identify the home
Guys,
team?
it is not that hard to determine, and I love Dom.
The score bug is there.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's not that hard to determine who's home and who's road. There are very few moments where maybe teams who have similar colors where I get confused, like, Knicks playing the Thunder sometimes, that can be confusing. But most times, this is a non-issue.
This is not like we're not, the world of events are not hanging in the balance here. but that and also NBA coaches not wearing suits bothers me.
That really bothers me.
You want to see? You've seen some of these NBA coach bodies. You want to see these guys back in suits?
It's better in suits, dude.
Yeah.
Thibodeau's better in a suit, man.
Oh, wow.
Look,
okay.
A suit is designed to make a man's body look like better than a tracksuit.
Pat Riley, Larry Brown, that was the mainstays of their coaching
it's like
careers.
They're wearing athleisure now. These are two things that bother me that no one else
The
cares
only thing about the uniform
Except
thing I will agree with on this one thing, and this does bother me. NBA finals or any other sport, but particularly NBA because they have the biggest issue. Celtics winning an NBA championship with green at home. I don't like that. That's what I don't like. Now, regular season, other games, who cares? But I do think that in the finals,
wear what you wear.
Well, because
wear your classic stuff.
When we go back to the pictures in the history books, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, when the NBA decides to say, we're going to go back to everybody wearing white at home because what's going to happen. It's going to be like, why are the Celtics wearing green at home? Or when LeBron and them...
I know, but EJ, it's so easy to figure it out.
When LeBron won Game 7 against the Warriors, they're going to be like, why are the Cavs wearing T-shirts?
I know, they're wearing sleeves.
That is going to be a problem, and that bothers me more than anything else.
See, I'm going to disagree on what's in the most important sport in football. Like, there are certain teams you have to wear the colors. Like, the Chiefs should not wear white. They have to wear red in big games. I feel like. I don't know what their record is, but, like, they're a team that looks normal in red. They look a little different in white. And there are a lot of teams who wear the dark colors at home now.
If I was playing the Cowboys in a Super Bowl, which I would absolutely wear my white.
Well, the Cowboys want to wear white. I mean, famously, the original jinx was the Cowboys in the dark blue could not win anything in the 70s and 80s. But now there's certain teams that almost always wear dark at home, and I think you have to because I think those things matter. I think it matters what jersey color you're wearing.
Not as a viewer, you mean as a player?
As a player, luck, karma. I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
Oh, yeah. No. Teams have admitted that.
Yeah.
There was a time, remember, when the Boston Red Sox were wearing like cornflower blue and then they kept it going?
Oh, yeah. If you win, you got to win. You can't change what's working. So I think that you go team by team. But if you feel like you're hot in the dark uniform, you got to stick with that, no?
Kawhi's in the chat saying the Chiefs won the Super Bowl the year before in the white-red combo.
Yeah,
so they
I know,
have one in the white.
Yeah, no, they definitely have. But I feel like, in my mind, they have to wear the red. Like when I think of what Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes look like, they're wearing the red jersey.
It's funny. Delta's in the chat. He says, since when is white a home color? Growing up, all high schools I've seen had the dark at home and the white on the road.
Well, I mean, football,
are you in opposite?
Football, maybe.
No, football always
football.
dark at home, and hockey started dark at home. That's why the Rangers are the blue shirts, and then they flipped it, and then they flipped it back to that.
Well, home always has a choice, is what I understand, right? They can go. They're always the one who determines what color.
Right, but your home uniform, like in the NFL and now in hockey, is the darker jersey.
I can't remember.
And I don't even know in the NBA. I believe
they don't even have home and away anymore. Technically, right?
Yeah, it's like they have weird names for them. But in the NBA, I think Nike has more say than even the teams. I think Nike determines basically what you wear from game to game. I think the teams maybe have some consultation about it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, Nike says this is what you're wearing, and they're well in advance. The NBA season, all 82 games, the uniforms
They're
are
all mapped out.
Yeah,
because they need to sell us everything they possibly can. All right, well, that's what we got. That little side convo. Thank you,
okay.
Don.
The thing about the NBA guys in suits, the
coaches?
Yeah, you are dead wrong on that one. Like, there's... First of all,
look how good the Stanley Cup final guys look. The coaches who are coaching hockey, they look awesome.
Suits. They've
Suits.
always wearing suits. I don't know why it changed.
Let me ask you.
It's a winter sport.
What do you
and
have
you're
a bigger
inside. Be in a suit.
You want to see George Karl? I'm trying to imagine George Karl. I'd rather see him in a tracksuit than a suit. Do you remember how
it's 2024? Suits don't even exist. Like, they don't even sell them anymore. They're not a thing. Why would you wear a suit when it's completely out of style? Let me ask you this. Which is worse? A manager wearing the uniform, which is the single worst thing in sports, or the NBA guys not wearing suits? Like, Tommy Lasorda in a uniform is the dumbest system that ever existed.
Thank you. He would have looked way better if he just had a suit on. Now, it's a little hot. Now, you're hot if you're a summer sport and you're outside. I get not wearing a suit, but inside winter sports, wear a suit.
Oh God!
You're right though. Do suits even exist anymore?
What I like
outside of weddings and funerals?
I like college basketball that they have their own choice. I like that, because there's some guys who do a great job. Like Calipari, to me, he's a guy I want to see in a suit.
Yeah.
He's always well-tailored. He's got the best probably Italian tailors in the world putting his suits together. Like Jay Wright, when he was towards the end of his career, still wearing a suit. Love it. Mick Cronin still wears suits. But then other coaches, I'm happy to see them in polo shirt or whatever.
And back to the baseball managers. I mean, they only wear it because they're on the field. And if you have some manager on the field in a suit with slacks, I mean, it's going to look really
It's too
silly.
hot.
Coaches are on the field too, though, on the court.
Yeah, but it's on the court. It's inside. It's not like there's dirt and stuff everywhere.
You can wear dress shoes.
Nice, clean courts.
They're white. They're mopping them off every 5 seconds. Bogusch has headlines for us.
Guys, the two hottest tickets in America converged last night at Wrigley Field. Mets baseball and the Dave Matthews Band summer tour. During Mets Cubs, ESPN showed my Dave sitting near the Mets dugout. Then cut to a fan in a DMB shirt holding the B, returning to his seat in the Wrigley bleachers.
Oh, my gosh. If only that guy knew. Somebody just tell him. He's out in the bleachers. Dave's behind the plate.
Bring that beer to Dave Matthews.
Bring that beer to Dave Matthews.
And try the XL on the shirt.
Ouch.
Not the Schmedium?
Not the Schmedium, no.
Yeah, that's David Cohn body shaming this Dave
Why
Matthews
did they say that about
fan
you, Bogusch?
who was jammed into a shirt. I think they might.
The 98 tour.
Yeah.
He needs a new shirt.
I don't think Schmedium was the problem. He needed to go probably to an XL from a large, if we're being honest. But that guy's on TV getting called fat by David Cohn and Bouchamp on ESPN last night.
That's an honor.
Well, also, isn't there some kind of like bat signal that goes up in the sky if you're anywhere within like 20 miles of Dave? Like,
I mean,
don't you have like a sixth sense for him if you're this big of a fan?
I mean, I knew there were already pictures online because when the Mets, whatever inning they interviewed Pete Alonso, they followed him to the dugout and Dave was over his shoulder. So I already knew he was at the game.
Would you get a text message from your...
I just knew. The ESPN cut to him. So they must have been waiting to find the T-shirt guy to link up with Dave.
Shout out to the cameraman who quickly spotted him and got him on, because like
the director
has
the truck.
got to be a Dave Matthews fan, because I didn't know that was a DMB shirt that he was wearing. That was a Cubs shirt.
I just really think that if you are this big of a fan of a band, I think you just kind of get it. Like I think you would know if like, man, something's off. Like the universe is just as off its axis for a second. It's like, what is tilting this universe? Like, oh, Dave's here.
I have respect for this fan because my assumption is that he's not either a Mets or a Cubs fan, and he just showed up in whatever he wanted. Good for him. Because I went to the Yankee game. Yankees were playing the Braves, two teams I despise. I was there on Saturday. So I show up in a Muggsy Bogues and Manute Bol shirt, because I'm not going to be the loser who shows up in a Mets hat and a Mets jersey. Those are the worst. Like, this is not about you. There are two teams playing. If you're going to show up to the stadium, respect them, and just wear something else random. So this guy showing up in a DMB shirt, I respect that.
Although I can't tell if he's wearing a Cubs hat because he's got his sunglasses over the, like on the brim of his hat. So I can't tell
I couldn't tell what kind of hat it was.
But here's a question: do you think any of the players had any idea who Dave Matthews is? We ask this sometimes about older musicians. Now Dave's been around for our life.
I would hope so.
I would think there's at least one or two Met players that would know he exists. Yeah.
So we're vaguely aware.
Yeah,
that he's
vaguely
living on
aware
Earth.
of his existence.
Edwin Diaz probably knew. He had some time to listen to it after the game.
This guy's wearing a Bears hat, it looks like.
Is
So
it
I really don't think he roots for either team, which is, again, good job.
Wow. What else we got, Bogusch?
We got the actual game last night at Wrigley Field. First things first, the good stuff for the Mets.
Payoff to Lindor. Swung on, hit the opposite way, deep out towards left center. Haps on the run. He turns at the warning track, and it's gone. Just over the basket in left center field. A two-run opposite field home run for Francisco Lindor. And the Mets finally cash in against Assad and the Cubs. It's 2-0.
Pat McCarthy already sounds good on Mets radio. Then the musical accompaniment makes it that much better. Brandon Nimmo went back-to-back with Lindor. Luis Severino K10 over 6 shutout innings. And the Mets beat the Cubs 5-2. They've won 8 of 10. But closer Edwin Diaz ejected before the bottom of the ninth because of a sticky right hand. He is now facing a 10-game suspension. Not much defense from his manager, Carlos Mendoza.
Rules are the rules, and
MLB is doing what they're doing because they have obviously really good reasons, and we got to stand by, and obviously PS went over.
He went over the amount of rosin on his hand. He said it was just that and sweat, but too much rosin is by itself a violation of the foreign substance rule.
If you were watching on YouTube and Twitch, I think, Pete, was that your imitation of someone dancing at a Dave Matthews concert?
Yeah, the Dave Matthews dance where he does that bend over thing.
Oh, that's Dave.
Yeah. I'm done.
That's brilliant.
All the music Pete likes is by people who have been dead for 2 decades, so none of them are still dancing.
Billy Joel's still alive.
Yeah, who sits on a piano bench the entire time.
Yeah, and
he's basically carried out there.
Sells out the garden.
Wait, Hall and Oates are still alive, aren't they?
No, Oates.
He's only an Oates fan.
He don't mess with Hall.
I don't like Hall.
No, but okay.
Good riddance.
Oates. That's the hair.
Yeah, that's a very emphatic Oates.
Right.
How dare you mention Hall?
See, I actually think it's the opposite. I don't think anyone that Pete is a fan of is dead because none of them are cool enough to have died tragically.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Like, he's got like the...
my God.
Right, like there's no Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison fan in here.
I
This
was
is
a fan
more
of the
like...
Big Bopper. Come on.
yeah, Richie Valens. Right.
That's a great
point.
Everyone Pete's like is going to live forever.
They're 90. The bands.
If they didn't have that edge.
I would say no. Wait, actually, Pete, who are your favorite bands?
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel. And
Oates.
Oates.
Just Garfunkel.
No, I don't like Garfunkel.
No,
Simon.
Garfunkel's out.
Oh, Simon only.
Alive.
That's right.
Only Peter
That's right.
Gabriel.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, especially his solo career. I like a lot of music. I do. All sorts
Not
of
Dave
music.
Matthews.
I
Everything
don't mind
sounds the
Dave
same. I'm with you.
Matthews. I don't mind Dave Matthews.
What's the newest music that you like?
I like Dua Lipa.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I thought the best halftime show at a Super Bowl was Lady Gaga.
She's great.
Wow.
I like Lady Gaga.
I'm
too.
impressed.
Jumped off the roof.
I have to know the music. I run the music.
That's true.
It's a job, part
Are
of
you
your job
playing
description.
Dua Lipa coming back from break?
Coming back next break.
All right.
All right, stay tuned for that.
That's right.
That is a
Hold on, Felix
curveball I
again.
did not see coming. That Pete Pilati's a Dua Lipa fan.
I would have thought Kendrick would have been the real curveball.
No.
Okay.
No.
And you're listening to like Sirius XM Hits 1 on the way home as research?
No, I don't pay for radio.
Oh, okay. So what Z100?
Yes.
Yikes.
Why do you say I don't pay for radio? Like it's like someone like shot at someone here or someone else.
No, it's a shot at people that pay for radio.
I'm like, my God.
For now.
You don't pay for radio. Radio doesn't pay you. It's an
I'm just following traditions.
It's a great relationship. Yankee DH Giancarlo Stanton suffered his yearly hamstring injury over the weekend. He is now on the IL for the 8th time in 6 seasons in pinstripes. He's expected to miss 4 weeks. In a related move, the Yanks have traded for veteran utility man J.D. Davis.
Have fun.
U.S. men's soccer, a 2-0 win over Bolivia in Dallas to open Copa America. Christian Pulisic scored the first goal, assisted on the second. Up next is Panama on Thursday in Atlanta. And as you guys mentioned before, Scottie Scheffler won the Travelers Championship yesterday in a playoff. It's win number 6 of the season, already the most before July by anybody since 1962. And yes,
He didn't break any laws on the way to the
no, he was
golf
just
course,
he was
right?
the innocent victim again.
Of what?
And Baby Bennett was there again yesterday. It sure made you guys happy that
good.
Baby being paraded around, that are almost holding up the Masters.
Yeah, and it's a dangerous situation with protesters everywhere, and they're bringing a newborn around.
Yeah,
Why
golf
are people
tournament is a
not
dangerous
judging?
situation. Never.
I saw this. I rolled my eyes when I saw the baby on there.
What are you talking
why
about?
is he doing that?
The golf isn't dangerous. Cops are getting thrown to the ground slowly.
I'd be worried about an errant golf ball, but that's about
that's
it.
another good point.
I don't think he's out there. They're not walking the course with the kid. He's like sitting in a air-conditioned room, and then they bring him out at the end for a photo op. It's not that dangerous.
He's just not worried about the danger. It's just corny that he keeps bringing the baby out. I don't know. Like,
You have to
of
spend
course,
time with
he's
him.
not the only guy that's been a dad that's been a golfer. All right, like, come on, enough.
Well, he's the
Like,
one, but he's the one that keeps winning. You can't take a picture of your baby when you come
he
in
did the interview
79th.
with the baby. The cut I got for us today. The baby's in his arms while he's doing this.
Okay.
Come on, man.
But then you got to keep the same energy that I keep when I'm like, I don't want people, coaches and players bringing their kids to the podium. And I got dragged, roasted, over hot coals, people called me a bad mom. Like, how am I a bad mom?
I don't know.
I'm
That
a
feels
good
different.
mom.
That feels different to me.
Have your kid at the podium is the same thing. It's a prop.
No, because they're not on the court, right? Like now there are some.
It's an extension of
there
it.
are some kids that are coming on the court, but for the most part, like I don't see like a guy holding his baby while like Lisa Salter is saying, "So what happened at the end of the game?" Like this is right after the match. Someone's running this baby onto the course, and so he can do the post-match interview.
How many guys on the podium for the NBA were holding babies doing
forget
interviews?
that. What about
That's like 30
throwing
minutes
your
after the
child
game.
up and while every camera in the world is on you? Like, if you're going to give that to Scottie, you got to come after Jason Tatum, too, because nobody's been taking more advantage of that photo opportunity than him.
Jason Tatum, Jason Kidd back in the day. I mean, tons of guys. Steph Curry with Aisha, or not Aisha, what's his daughter's name? His wife's
Riley.
name. Riley, thank you. She was a staple. I think you just got to say Ixnay.
Just set up a playpen right by the benches. I mean, they have all these fans sitting right next to the benches now. Anyway, I mean, just add to it.
Somebody would scalp one of those seats. All of a sudden, there's a 30-year-old man sitting in there about a baby
sitting in a playpen.
It's totally different. A newborn is like, nobody wants to see that. That's Jason Tatum's kid is adorable. So that's awesome.
I agree with that too.
But like a newborn is just like, oh God, that seems like a huge pain. He's got a diaper rash probably. Like you gotta get like he's off his nap schedule. I see that and it brings back nothing but bad memories. Like there's nothing cute about Scottie Scheffler's kid either. I'm just gonna say that. Like you don't get cute until about 6 months.
It's funny. You're right. It's very rare for a newborn to be cute. A lot of them look like old.
Yeah. You look like an old man.
Like an old man.
It's like Benjamin Button in reverse situation.
And then they got the ear protections that are just like, it's a reminder, wow, they probably really shouldn't have this kid around this wildly cheering crowd, not to mention protesters.
Humidity. Just bring him to a concert.
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's calculated where he's trying to say, hey, look, I'm this great golfer, and also, like, by the way, I'm this great father of a newborn. Like, come on, man. You know you got a nanny. We know you got that newborn being taken care of. Like, and you're not the only guy with a newborn.
That's all true. But I would say Jason Tatum is a bit calculated too. I mean, that became a huge. I mean, how many stories do I have to watch about Jason Tatum? Yeah. I mean, that's also a bit of marketing. But whatever.
You want to be a real father? Put the baby in the stroller and golf with the baby.
As your caddy?
Walk the course with the baby.
Walk the course with the
You know
stroller.
what? You want to know what's funny? So we talk about that. I remember once interviewing, you guys remember JaVale McGee?
Yes.
The basketball player, and his mom is Pam McGee. She was a famous basketball player, and she said she had to have him in the stroller at practice because it's mom. And so he would be in the stroller just hanging out at practice because she didn't have anyone else to watch him.
She wasn't publicizing post-game interviews, bringing baby JaVale.
I mean,
honestly, I want to see the baby at the practice course with Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, that's what Pete's saying. Push the
Have
stroller
the Graco
through
on
18.
9. Have the Graco on 9 and try to make a putt.
And your model is JaVale McGee, who turned out to be the most knuckleheaded NBA player in the history of the sport.
Basically invented for that.
By the way, I'm a JaVale McGee super
Champion,
fan.
by the way.
Multiple time champion. Didn't he win more than one, I think?
With Gold State.
Definitely won one with the Warriors, at least.
Yeah, I love JaVale McGee, but, I mean, he is so absent-minded. And it's because he was out on the court as a kid.
Three-time NBA champion. Wow.
How many times?
3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name.
Golden State, and then some other completely
He won
random.
with the Lakers, I believe.
Oh, in the
2020?
bubble?
Yeah, in 2020. That's that second one.
Kaplan's saying, wow, it's a hot take. Scottie's kid, not cute. That's not just Scottie. It's just all newborns.
Yeah, I wasn't going to
cute.
go there.
Did he win 2 with the Warriors?
He won 2 with the Warriors and then won the bubble title with the Lakers.
All right, how many more people are going to take out in this segment?
I think
Scheffler's
he's a
JaVale?
gold medalist, too.
Might be. That sounds about right. 855-212-4227. Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, we have details on the latest and greatest with the Lakers hiring J.J. Redick. Don't move. More Maggie Perloff.
Peter Bellatti's got a thing for the pop scene queen. Dua Lipa on his mind, she reigns supreme. Every morning starts with "Don't Start Now." He's dancing in the kitchen, taking a bow. Oh, Peter Bellotti loves Dua. What can he do? Her beats in his heart through and through. From new rules to levitating, Peter Bellotti's love for Dua never abating. He's got posters on the wall, her vinyl spin, every lyric memorized, each little grin. At every party, he's her #1 fan. concert, front row seat, cheering for Dua, that would be neat. Oh, Peter Pilati loves Dua, what can he do? Her beats in his heart through and through. From physical.
Oh, Pete Pilati's got a new shirt. It's purple and snazzy, ain't no dirt. Got it from his kids on Father's Day. Now he wears it in a proud peacock way. Purple shirt, oh, Pete looks so fine. Every time he wears it, oh, how he shines. Walking down the street, he's a dashing sight. In the purple shirt, everything's alright. It's not just a shirt, it's a royal robe. Strutting around the town, across the globe. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Pink and purple, the fairest of them all. Purple shirt, oh, Pete looks so fine. Every time he wears it, oh, how he shines. Walking down the street, he's a dashing sight. In that purple shirt, everything's alright. It's not just a shirt, it's a royal robe. Strutting around the town, across the globe. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Pink and purple, the fairest of them all. Purple shirt, oh, Pete looks so fine. Every time he wears it, oh, how he shines. Walking down the street, he's a dashing sight. In that purple shirt, everything's alright. From morning coffee to the evening dine, in the purple shirt, Pete does nothing but shine. Call it magic or a stroke of luck, that shirt's a hit, who gives a duck? So here's to Pete in his purple flare, turning heads here and everywhere. Purple's the new black, haven't you heard? All thanks to Pete and his fabulous shirt. Purple shirt, oh, Pete looks so fine. Every time he wears it, oh, how he shines. Walking down the street, he's a dashing sight. In that purple shirt, everything's alright.
Major professional sport and would launch Connor McDavid into superstardom.
The new black haven't you heard? All thanks to Pete and his fabulous shirt. Oh, Pete Pilati's got a new shirt.
Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
A lot just happened there. Pete was accused of only liking music from the 60s and 70s, 80s, 40s. It's actually a jug band.
Big bands. Benny Goodman.
Like a homemade like mandolin. Anyway, said, what's the most recent artist you like? And he said Dua Lipa, sort of out of left field. So I'll play some for you on the way back. And then Perloff and I both started dancing when Pete played that. And Amanda's not our intern anymore. Amanda's now working here. Just a laugh because we look so silly. We deserve it. Okay. Well done all around. Today is the introductory press conference for J.J. Redick with the Lakers. So that's going to go down around 1:30 Pacific time. So mark your calendars. Set your alarms accordingly.
Just took Peace Highway.
Take a nap.
That comment.
You blew your Dua Lipa buzz. And so we're going to get some interesting questions. I'm sure some interesting sound bites are going to come out of that. I'm also curious if they're going to make a point for LeBron James to be there, for Anthony Davis to be there. I can imagine they all want to look very unified on this, Pearl. So I would think that you're going to have full attendance for this presser.
Really? Wait. I never thought about that because I don't know about the life of an NBA guy, but aren't they off doing things? Are they near the facility? Do you have some intel here? I guess they're in LA.
Yeah, I mean, it's deep off season.
But aren't they in Cannes doing a fashion show or something?
I mean, maybe getting ready for the Olympics, but this time is off. I just assume they would want to, like, for PR purposes, you'd want guys there. Like, I bet Austin Reeves is going to be there. Don't you think?
We know LeBron was at the Kendrick concert, so he's in LA. But I would say it's not an insult if you're not there because, like, you're traveling.
Yeah, maybe. I would expect some good attendance today. We'll find out if I'm right.
Well, LeBron will be there, right? Because he's in Los Angeles getting ready for Bronny's draft, right?
Right? You would imagine that. Or maybe they're in New York because it's in New York on Thursday and Friday. Anyway, there's a lot of different things about this. There was also an article that came out in The Athletic, and that was Friday, I believe. We were already gone, but it was a deep dive into the Lakers sort of and decision-making. It went through the whole coaching situation. And one item that came out of that was that Jeanie Buss, who is in this article labeled as the Lakers' ultimate decision maker. She's the governor there. Team sources said she was highly motivated to make Dan Hurley their next coach and was genuinely disappointed when the attempt fell short.
Yeah, it's wild. Then she made him an offer to be the 6th highest paid coach in the NBA. How can she possibly be disappointed? Like, she didn't offer enough money, so she's screwed up. Like, this makes her look terrible, right? I mean,
if this is true, and I think it is, that she was highly motivated to make Hurley the coach. Now, if Hurley was always using the Lakers just to get more out of UConn, then maybe there was no amount of money. But then Dan Hurley came out after and said there was actually a number that would have made him leave, and the Lakers didn't hit that number.
Well, even if it was purely for leverage against UConn, it still makes her look bad because she didn't invest enough. Like, she should have said 6 years, $100 million. What difference does it make to her? I mean,
they're paying all these coaches not to coach their team because they keep firing them.
I can't imagine the Lakers really need that money so badly. I mean, look at the player salaries. They're outrageous. So the whole thing never makes any sense. Once again, the Lakers look bad with this headline.
I think so, too. And listen, here's the thing. We knew that J.J. Redick was clearly the plan B because they offered a contract to Dan Hurley and he turned it down. However, I think there was a sort of trying to save face a little bit, like, oh, J.J.'s been there since the beginning. It's not like, we got turned down from Dan Hurley. We had nowhere to turn. So, J.J., come down and do it. He had been on their radar, and I think they're making a concerted effort to get that fact out so he doesn't seem like such a consolation prize. But that's clearly what this is. And until he does anything with the Lakers, he's going to be looked at in that view. And especially if Dan Hurley continues, like, you always wonder if there's that, oh, we're keeping our eye on Dan Hurley, and the next chance we get to hire him, we're not going to make the same mistake that we made the last time.
Oh, yeah. I would be shocked. It feels like Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. There's going to be some big offers to Dan Hurley next offseason. Now that people know he's in play.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 years, $70 million is going to looks minuscule compared to what I don't know the team. I don't know whose vacancy is. Some big market team is going to throw the Brinks truck at him next year, and I'll bet you he takes it. I think money. I think they could have done this.
I always thought that it was a leverage play. Listen. I always thought the leverage for UConn was part of this. And he basically admitted it. He said, my salary has been done, but he said there's some NIL stuff and assistant coaches. Like, he wanted something off the Lakers.
NIL stuff and assistant coaches is not a reason not to take a Lakers job. I mean, honestly.
Well, if you don't really want the job and you just want UConn to think you want the job, it is enough to say.
But it seems like for your NIL fund, like, coaches don't have to, pretend to sign up for an NBA team to get more NIL money. I think your own salary is all that people really care about at the end of the day.
Well, in this new era, I don't know. I can see it. And listen, Dan Hurley got a huge raise, so he's making $50 million as a college coach. It's not bad. You'll find a way to feed your family. But the NIL part of it is massive because there's no salary cap on that. It's not like the NBA where you can only pay LeBron James this amount of money. It's dictated in the CBA. It's whatever you can afford in college.
Yeah, I hear you. But I don't think most of the colleges are not using, the coach is not using some other team as leverage to get more NIL money. They're all the coaches are trying to get as much NIL money as they can. And you shouldn't have to, say you're Kellen DeBoer, you shouldn't be like, I'm going to leave here unless you give this cornerback more money. That's just not how it works because most coaches are pretty stable. And getting the biggest NIL funds are with coaches who've been there for 10 years.
I get it, but clearly Dan Hurley he said this was not up to snuff here with the NIL.
Right, but I do not believe for a second that that's why he made this decision. Because I don't think he was like, man, I'm going to go flirt with the Lakers so I can get more NIL money and I can get my assistants paid. No way. I mean, come on. You really think it's all about his salary?
I think that was part of it too. He was literally in a contract negotiation while he's going out to LA and then tried to tell everyone after that it wasn't about a contract. It's like, come on. We were born on a day, but not yesterday.
But also, too, I still believe if they'd offer him $100 million for the same time frame, that he would have
left. I think he said that,
We'll see next year. I think this will. Well, also, the other thing, though, he has a chance to three-peat, which has not been done since Wooden? So I do think that this year, win or lose, it'll be easier for him to leave after this because he has a good team coming back. So maybe he can make history. I think that played in his mind as well.
And then on the Lakers side of this, it is always going to be, again, until J.J. Redick does something of note, it's going to be the not Dan Hurley hire, which is, kind of unfair to Redick because it's not like they plucked him off the street. He did play 15 years in the NBA. He was a massive college star. J.J. Redick is not some anonymous person. He's just never coached before, but we've seen that.
Yeah, I know. Poor J.J. Redick. Everyone's making fun of his resume, to a degree that's ridiculous. There is this narrative that he's never been around the sport of basketball. He's only been an ESPN guy. I think people are going a little overboard and keep on mentioning that he coached this fourth grade team that is actually in my neighborhood. I mean, fourth graders, they're hard to corral. It's not easy work.
Same type of ego as LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
In Brooklyn, maybe at this point.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Sense of entitlement.
Yeah. These are little rich kids running around. Trust me. There'll be less ego at LA. This is going to be such a great experiment. Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited. The Lakers, you have to admit, more interesting with J.J. Redick than with Darvin Ham.
Slightly. They've done this every which way and can't find something that fits. Or they're just pulling the trigger too quickly on these guys.
I was about to say they won a title with Frank Vogel and fired him.
Yeah, I think the one thing, though, about JJ, it's funny. On one side, people are like, well, he doesn't have any experience, but he's shades of Pat Riley. It's like, what? I'm sorry. Are we underestimating him or are we overestimating him? What's going on here? He's the next Pat Riley. Never coached a day in his life. Okay, make that make sense. Anyway, introductory press conference later today. Coming up, what's at stake tonight on the ice? Spoiler, everything.
You're in
Dua Lipa on his mind.
Yeah, it's a six guy. Gun the airways, no facade. Tune in, Maggie Perloff on the dial, but it's just another show that's missing the style. Got your takes, but they're colder than a waiter file. When I come through, I'ma light it up, watch you rile.
Peter Bellatti's got a thing for the pop scene queen. Dua Lipa on his mind, she reigns supreme. Every morning starts with Don't Start Now. He's dancing in the kitchen, taking a bow. Oh, Peter Bellotti loves Dua. What can
Here at Sports Illustrated, it's not rare that champions roam our hallways.
Maggie woke up, felt a change in the air. Reese for his razor, didn't have a care. Every single day, a Maggie and Perloff show.
One show.
I need Angels wakes up at dawn, coffee brewing, screen turned on. He's got a favorite show to see, the Maggie and Perloff Symphony. Bogusch waves, he's got the road trip blues left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio, can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home, his heartache amplifies. Betting against Wembyama, Perloff took the fall, but it's Bogusch left behind, feeling 10 feet tall, a loser in his own right. Can't catch a break, road trip dream shattered. For goodness sake, for goodness sake, Bogusch cruising highways, hilarity atop, San Antonio shining, the city's calling their names, the Bogusch sitting home, stuck playing life's cruel games. Bogusch way.
2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
These are the best kinds of days. These are the best kinds of days. Not only do we get a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final, we get a Game 7 with so much heaped onto it. This isn't your average Game 7, Perloff. By the way, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We are on the verge of watching history no matter what happens tonight. It's either going to be Edmonton comes back from being down 0-3 and their superstar Connor McDavid gets launched to an even greater stratosphere, Pearl, and then it becomes a choke of all time for the Florida Panthers if Edmonton pulls off what they're calling the reverse sweep to win 4 games in a row after you were down 0-3, and it would be legendary for Edmonton, and it would just be devastating heartbreak for Florida.
Yeah, it's it's definitely unexpected historical game because we all thought the series was over. It felt non-competitive, and I was lamenting the fact that we had a non-competitive NBA Finals and a non-competitive Stanley Cup Finals. Such a bummer. And I'm a Connor McDavid super fan, always have been, always will be. It was especially disappointing for me because he hadn't been doing anything. And now, even though he really hasn't, I don't think he's necessarily been the dominant force in this series. He's given us a few crazy highlights, which are awesome. It's still, his name is attached to this too, and I'm really excited. I hope they win. I'm rooting for the Oilers. Just because next year we're going to come in and everybody's going to be watching Connor McDavid. It's going to elevate the entire sport.
Well, I think if you're a casual here, if you don't have a rooting interest, I think you're probably with Edmonton on this one.
Yeah.
Just to see if they can actually complete the comeback. And if the Panthers do win this, well, then they win their first cup in franchise history. And, to be honest, I don't think that, blowing a 3-0 lead, if you end up winning, it doesn't do anything. You saved it. You will have salvaged it. I don't think anyone's going to take anything away from your run. This would have been the run of revenge tour from last year when they lost in the Stanley Cup final. So it would have felt like, completing the mission. But if they lose, it's going to be an all-timer. It's going to be the worst choke job in team sports. Well, that got us wondering.
Well, it's going to be one of the worst.
Got us thinking.
Yeah.
Got us pondering. And it got us debating. Now, normally we do this on Wednesdays around here. We do something called the Great Debate. We're ripping up all the rules because we got to bring this to you today.
The Great Debate Series.
We're doing this on a Monday. This is a Wednesday thing. We're throwing everybody off, but it warrants our grandest attention. What is the worst sports collapse ever? The worst ever. Because if, it hasn't happened yet, but if Edmonton wins this game tonight, the Florida Panthers will be prominent on every list and at every barroom debate on the biggest choke jobs in sports.
I think it's very similar, but it's different in the sense of the history. 3-0, 2004, Yankees, Red Sox, same dynamic, except that you have the most intense rivalry in all of sports and 100 years of incredible history involving Babe Ruth, involving a GOAT, involving Bucky Dent, involving everything possible. So to me, all the lure of the Red Sox-Yankees makes it even greater.
Here it is. Ground ball to second. Reese. The Boston Red Sox have won the pennant.
Yeah, I mean, 2004, you can't state how big the rivalry. I don't think the rivalry is as big now, but back then it was probably the biggest thing in sports was Yankees-Red Sox. Maybe Duke, North Carolina, maybe Ohio State, Michigan. But back then it was the rivalry. It was closer to the peak of baseball, so everything about it felt huge. And unlike this series, like I kind of knew that the Red Sox were going to win Game 4. I don't know that about tonight. This could easily end up being lost in the forgotten pile of near historic events in sports. But I think as dynamic as this series is, it can't really catch up to Red Sox-Yankees, right?
Well, that was only the ALCS, though. I mean, I know the World Series at that point kind of felt like a formality, like the Red Sox were just going to win it, but against St. Louis. But I think the Stanley Cup is bigger, quite frankly. It would be bigger if this happens. We're putting our great debate, which happens on Wednesdays. We're doing this on Monday today, because we're asking what's the worst collapse in sports history.
That's so funny. I completely forgot that they had to go and beat the Cardinals. In my mind, like all of us, like, oh yeah, that was it. You're right. They went on. Yeah, Pete.
I agree with Perloff that we're sharing the same debate.
You think 04 is the biggest?
That's the biggest because it broke the curse of the Bambino. It led to the break into the curse of the Bambino. And in that world, in that ALCS, I knew right when they won Game 7, they were winning the World Series. They had so much momentum coming off that high of beating the Yankees in their stadium too. And this was a Yankee team that had started going a lot more to free agency, not to the traditional way of building a team. And you could tell they had Kevin Brown taking hits.
Yep.
You had guys like that on the mound, and it was the total collapse of the Yankees was a total summation of what they shouldn't have done in this run.
Right, they were mercenaries, and it was easy to root against the Yankees if you didn't have a rooting interest because they felt like they bought that team already.
I remember watching this in college. We were all watching it around. All the Yankee haters are watching this around the television and jumping for joy when the Red Sox won. It was monumental.
Maggie's so jealous right now, but she always agrees with your taste, Pete. And now that we're a team, this is going to be hard to beat.
We're doing great debate on Monday. Let all you can handle, man. We're talking about the worst sports collapses ever. This is because there's a Game 7 tonight, and Florida could be at the top of this list if they lose tonight. But I'm going to go with the worst loss that we all witnessed together. The Atlanta Falcons will never recover.
Handoff. Touchdown, James White. Even if it is tied for Atlanta. Pass. Amendola. Flag is down. Amendola's in. Toss to White. He's in. Patriots win the Super Bowl. Brady has his 5th.
Super Bowl 51, scene of the crime, Houston, Texas. That was the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan, MVP season, 28-3 lead, largest comeback in Super Bowl history, first overtime game in Super Bowl history. 30 different records were set in that game for good and for bad. And the Atlanta Falcons, there's just no coming back from that. They had already been sending out tweets that were like congratulating basically people on the team. Arthur Blank coming down to the field has now become like a bad omen for all Falcons fans. He's obviously the owner of the team. I don't think it can't be worse. And I know it's not 7 games and it's not long and drawn out, but that is as bad as it gets for the biggest sport that we have right now. And again, that is like I don't use the word lightly, but if you were on that Falcons team, that's traumatic. And it also put Brady and Belichick into a totally different stratosphere because they were boogeymen already. It tied them with Dallas and with San Francisco, the Patriots, for Super Bowl titles. They obviously go on to break it after they beat the LA Rams a couple years later. This was like they're the boogeymen. Like, oh man, nobody's beating these people, and outside the Giants, of course. But it would put everyone in a whole new realm. And the Falcons are losers forever because of this, even though they had a great season with an MVP. EJ, worst sports collapse ever is who?
Okay, so when I think of worst sports collapses, I want to see a team that was first dominating the game, not necessarily just for how they're playing, but how poorly the other team is playing, and then somehow fall apart and essentially give the other team the game. That's why I'm going to the 2023 AFC wildcard game between the Chargers and the Jaguars.
They run the ball with ETN, tries to get the corner. He does. 35, 30, 25. He is going to get wrestled to the ground at the 15-yard line. Cook puts it down. Patterson's kick is up. The field goal is good! 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 The Jaguars have won it! The Jaguars have won it! They have come back from 27-0 to win the game!
Okay, so Jaguars beat the Chargers. The Chargers had 4 first-half interceptions from Trevor Lawrence. The idea that a team, we talk about winning the turnover battle, you turn the other quarterback over 4 times in the first half. You're up 27-0, and somehow the calamity of errors on your part helps the other team win. That included a Joey Bosa penalty that put the Jaguars in position to do a 2-point conversion. That included taking just 15 minutes off on the clock after bringing up 27-0. There was a full 35 minutes left in the game. They couldn't handle the clock, couldn't handle their emotions. It was a total disaster by the Chargers. And to me, when I think about that Brandon Staley era, this game stands out more than any of them. So I'm going with the Chargers collapsing to the Jaguars in the 2023 wildcard round.
But it's a wild card round.
So?
That's why I think the Super Bowl, I'm going to win this debate because it's the highest stakes.
But you lost to Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't like he was playing great, but it wasn't like he was throwing picks left and right. Like the Falcons were playing really well. Like this was a situation where you were taking the game away from the Jaguars and you looked like you had it. And somehow your inability to coach the second half, inability to keep your emotions in check, handed the game back to the other team. It was unbelievable to me.
Bogusch, who do you have? We're talking about the worst sports collapses ever, because depending on what happens tonight, if the Florida Panthers lose Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, they will be on this list. It just is a matter of where.
Well, I'm going with one of the precursors to Perloff's pick. One of the things that made that 2004 Red Sox rally so cleansing and so necessary because of one of their collapses. This one came in 1986 in the World Series, highlighted, low-lighted by one of the signature moments in baseball history.
5-5 in a delirious 10th inning. Can you believe this ball game at Shea? Oh, brother. 3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Obviously, a lot happened before Bill Buckner missed Mookie Wilson's dribble. The game was tied, so they were going to keep playing had he fielded it correctly. Before that, Red Sox are up 2. There's 2 outs. There's nobody on base in the Mets' last time up. The rally starts. There are guys in the Mets clubhouse making their travel plans home. Champagne is out. Lockers were covered. That's just Game 6 at Shea Stadium. So the Mets rally, they win that. I think people forget that Game 7, the Red Sox lead 3-0 going into the bottom of the 6th inning, and they can't win that game either, keeping the curse going, blowing not 1 but 2 games to lose the 86 World Series to the Mets.
Any chance Buckner wouldn't have got him out anyway?
I believe that Mookie's safe anyway, but still, the game's tied. That only lost the game because he didn't field it.
Yeah.
Had he fielded it, they're going to keep playing, and maybe they win after that. But either way, I mean, I think multiple times the Mets were down to their last strike, and they couldn't close it out.
Oh, God, that hurts just hearing. I don't even like the Mets. Just the pain of I don't even like the Red Sox, but the pain of the Red Sox, the most cursed team. That's a pretty good one.
It's a great one. It's, still in pop culture today. Like Curb Your Enthusiasm did a whole Bill Buckner thing before he passed away. And that's a great Vin Scully call that doesn't probably live on if the Red Sox just win Game 7. Like, so many things. Okay, so we brought great debate, which usually happens on Wednesdays. We did it for today because we're asking what's the worst sports collapse. And it's possible when we walk in here tomorrow morning, we're looking at a new, air quotes, champion.
Yeah.
If Edmonton wins the Stanley Cup, that means Florida will have been on the wrong side of one of the worst collapses ever.
Yeah, I was so confident in my Yankees Red Sox 2004. Me and Pete teamed up on this one. In my mind, I'm sitting there talking about. I'm like, that was the championship series.
Yeah, no,
I was stuck in 19.
But
But that Cardinals series didn't count. It's as good as a championship series, right?
They disposed of the Cardinals pretty easily in that World Series.
So there's going to be a few people who are already chiming in the chat. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. I'm seeing here some 64 Philadelphia Phillies. They had 6.5 games up with 12 to go. I have to go back and look exactly what it was. But we all kind of stayed away because obviously the Mets have a very famous one in 2007 where they let a big lead slip away.
I'll also say 2008 too.
In 2008 also because, of course, it's the Mets. We kind of stayed away from those long collapses. Like, these are postseason, even if I think EJ is happening in the wild card round. a little light.
Well, I mean, the Bills-Oilers was also wild card.
That was my
too.
second pick.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I was probably going to do that, Maggie.
I'm not sure I ding him for the wild card. I think he picked the wrong games. He should have gone with the Bills-Oilers, right?
The Music City Miracle? You're talking
the 35-3.
The Frank Reich game.
The Frank Reich game. You mean the comeback?
Yeah. Good Bills.
Like, what are you guys talking about?
So sorry. I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah, I'm like so used to guys clowning me at every single opportunity. I'm like, oh, you mean a good Bills?
Yeah. But it was not good on the Houston side.
No, on the Houston side.
But they're very similar. I'm fine with EJ's.
No, it's fine. But what I'm saying is we stayed away from like the regular season collapses. We
Isn't
all
it funny?
did postseason.
The way history works is nobody remembers that the Bill Buckner was not Game 7. In everybody's mind, it was Game 7. Nobody remembers like the little details. The fact that
Fun fact, it was a rain delay that actually delayed Game 7 for an extra day.
Yeah, Yankees Red Sox might be the most famous playoff series ever, and nobody remembers the Cardinals came next. It's just it's funny how that works.
Or the Doug Minkiewicz controversy with the ball.
Huh?
Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah, he put the ball right in his pocket, and they were trying to find
I
the
do
ball.
know that one.
It was
That's a
also
good
interesting
one.
because it was the year before when it was the Arab bleeping Boone. That was just more heartache for the Red Sox because the Yankees won the World Series, won the ALCS, and then go on and lose to the Marlins. So nobody really.
What about
the Marlins fans think about that, but the Yankee fans don't.
What about a real quick one like Russell Wilson's interception? Is that a collapse or is that just too fast? I don't think
so.
Yeah,
you got to feel the pain with the collapse.
28-3 is that's the collapse.
Right. You have to think you're gonna really think you're gonna win and really be in line to win.
Well, I mean Seattle,
really were.
But it was still a singular play.
Yeah, but they were kind of cursed afterwards. So it reminds me a little bit.
I think they
when you
need to
said
be a
Atlanta.
I think they need to be a long goodbye in the collapse.
Yeah,
Like,
I think you're right.
It can't be a short stab to the chest like that interception was.
You got to bleed out.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
The fact that Dan Quinn was allowed to hang around that team after that collapse, the time he did, is beyond me. Because
you would have fired him.
I would have. Yeah.
Wait.
I'm not a guy
Well, Kyle
that's
Shanahan left, but
Oh.
Kyle Shanahan gets more, I think, associated with that collapse even than Dan Quinn does.
But Dan Quinn's running the show.
No, he was.
He's the guy in charge.
I was wondering, like, Dan Quinn didn't say throw the ball over the middle. Dan Quinn would have handed it off, but it was Dan Quinn. I thought you were talking about the Seattle one. I'm like, why are you blaming Dan Quinn?
No, for the Atlanta one.
right. Was Dan Quinn gone by the time?
No, I don't remember when he left there.
He was anyway.
It was. He had some time.
You're talking
there,
about Dan Quinn in Atlanta. That was Shanahan. Nobody blames Quinn. That was
but
Kyle
he's the head
Shanahan.
Coach. He's the head coach.
Oh,
What,
that
go play the
Shanahan
offensive
wears that one.
coordinator?
We all know it.
Come on.
I think they both wear it, but Shanahan definitely wears it more because Dan Quinn was basically like, he runs the offense.
Yeah.
Well, also, I think what hurts him too is Shanahan's had these mishaps in Super Bowl since.
Yeah.
So like Dan Quinn, I don't know if it's
He
worse.
saves his for the divisional round.
Right, yeah. He's the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys that lose in the wild card or divisional round. So he doesn't even get that high profile mess up that we keep seeing from Shanahan in Super Bowl.
You can't be the head coach of a team and wash your hands completely of blame in that situation. You're the guy in charge.
I agree. We're talking about the worst collapses of all time. Brought our great debate from Wednesday to Monday. You're welcome to weigh in on this because this will be the Panthers' world if they lose tonight to Edmonton, Game 7, Stanley Cup Final. Okay, coming up. I always say this. We get the same answer every time. Are we above gossiping on this show? No, we are not. And we will get to all the gossip next. Maggie Perloff, Infinity Sportsnet.
You're in a 5-minute break.
And your Bogusch high on display. Road trip blues won't go away. Bogusch weeps. He's got the road trip blues. Left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio. Can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home. His heartache amplifies. Betting against Wembyama. Perloff took the fall. But it's Bogusch. Moist pork so delicious. Fashion icon, always ambitious. Rocking the threads, fresh and clean. Styling on the scene, living the dream. Loves Twitch, not YouTube. Always dancing, never in the mood. Live streaming with 1 million views. Sipping on success and paying his dues. Loves Baltimore, city of his heart. Representing, playing his part. But hates back callers, ain't no doubt. Gotta stay fly, that's what it's about. Standing in my
3 minutes
room,
remaining.
scrolling through the tube, watching Maggie and Perloff, getting in the groove. Found a viewer in the chat, his name's Delta 9 Brian. spitting fire comments, he's the #1 fan. Got his fingers moving, stepping non-stop. Dropped with all the knowledge, never gonna flop. Talking about Ryan,
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
with his love for the show, there ain't no doubt.
Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. Down at the park on a Saturday morning,
2 minutes.
Andrew Bogusch was ready, his whistle was worn. Little League Baseball, the kids in a line, but Bogusch was plotting some mischief this time. Oh, Andrew Bogusch, why you gotta be mean? Bullying the kids on the Little League team, stealing the snacks and the baseball dreams. Andrew Bogusch, that's just so extreme. He'd steal. Peter Bellalotti loves when he's baking treats. He dances with joy every time he eats. Crispy strips of happiness, that's no lie. Peter's in baking heaven, reaching for the sky. When he's baking, makes Oh, Pete Ron, he's got a new shirt. It's purple and snazzy, ain't no dirt. Got it from his kids on Father's Day. Now he wears it in a proud peacock way. Purple shirt, a Pete looks so fine. Every time he wears it, oh how he shines. Walking down the street, he's a dashing
30
sight.
seconds
In that purple shirt, everything's alright. It's not just a shirt, it's a royal robe. Strutting around the town, across the globe. Mirror, mirror on the wall.
15
Purple,
seconds.
the fairest of them all.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Just in case the Florida Panthers win tonight and kind of kill our story of the greatest comeback ever for the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup Final, we are looking at the greatest collapse of all time because I think if Florida loses this, they'll be the first team in the Stanley Cup Final since what year? 42?
1942, yep.
To blow a 3-0 lead. I still don't think it's going to, and I'm being serious, I do not think it's going to go down as the greatest collapse in sports history because we've all outlined bigger ones. And also hockey is so funny. Like this is the fifth time that a team has come back from 3-0. So it's a little different. Like it can be done in hockey. Hockey is wildly unpredictable to me. I honestly have no idea what's going to happen. I don't feel like the Oilers' momentum is necessarily going to translate because hockey seems to reset in an instant. I'm not sure. I felt like you got a vibe that really feels like a team of destiny with Edmonton.
I think Edmonton feels like they can't lose, and they have the best player in the series in McDavid. You finally saw Draisaitl have an assist in the last game, so maybe he gets going. And actually, McDavid didn't even have a point in the last game. What could he possibly have in store for Game 7? You have to be absolutely peeing your pants if you are a Panther fan right now, because it's your home, yes, but your confidence just has to be completely drained.
Yeah,
except
I know
for
what you
just
mean.
like playing the probabilities, like that's not confidence. And meanwhile, we were talking about our the worst collapses in sports history. With Perloff and Pete both going with the 04 Yankees Red Sox. That was the ALCS. EJ went with Chiefs and you went with Chargers Jags. The wild card round 2023. Bogusch went with the 86 Mets and Red Sox. That was the World Series Game 6 with Bill Buckner. And I went with 28-3 with the Atlanta Falcons blowing that lead, the biggest lead in Super Bowl history, to Tom Brady's Pats.
So, but real back, quick, we knew the Red Sox were going to win that Game 7 against the Yankees. But last year, when the Miami played Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, they had almost blown a 3-0 lead, and they just came out and whooped the Celtics in Game 7. So how do we know that's not going to be the energy here? Two Miami-based teams. I just think that it's not as surefire a thing as you do. But we'll see. It should be super fun.
Let's go to the phones. Sean is in Oregon. Sean, the worst collapse in sports history was who?
Well, when it comes to the collapse, it's not so much the score of the game, it's the fact that they didn't even lose at all. And I remember when Bill Belichick lost one game in 2007, it was the most important game. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, losing to the Giants in the Super Bowl. Bogusch is nodding along, remembering, smiling. Remembering his Giants disrupting a perfect season. You're right. Patriots, they had the T-shirts printed, right? 19-0, and it was not to be.
And I'd like to throw in one more quick one, too.
Yeah.
Another great one was when Mo Rivera lost Game 7 of the World Series.
Was that a collapse,
pretty
though?
awesome.
Whatever, Ricky, let's just mention it and remember
That
it.
was good, too.
And
Sean.
enjoy it. Go Diamondbacks, go.
Thank you. Luis Gonzalez, forever immortalized for that one.
I also loved 03 when they lost to the Marlins.
The Marlins was another one. But this is not just about the Yankee failures, guys. They got 27 World
wanted to
Series.
roll through them.
Christina is in Toronto. Christina, the worst sports collapse was what?
Well, it's not a Super Bowl, but I believe it was a divisional round or a championship round. 13 seconds.
I mean, painful. So, Christina, thank you for
great, too.
bringing that up. You're in Toronto, so
Go Oilers!
Christina, I'm only gonna. Are you a Bills fan, and you're bringing this up?
I am not.
Ah, all right. Thought you were with the good guys.
Dolphins fan.
Oh,
Dolphins fan. All right. Oh, rubbing salt in the wound. Well, hawk to you and all the Tua fans. Christina.
Hey, Christina, question.
The 42, the last time that the Game 7 was won in 1942 was actually the Toronto Maple Leafs.
So, Christina, let me ask you, are all Canadian hockey fans rooting for Edmonton, or are you, since you're a Maple Leaf fan, aren't they rivals in a sense? Or is everybody going to embrace them no matter who you root for?
I am actually not a make-believe fan.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, let me guess. You're a Florida Panthers.
I'm not a big hockey person.
What?
Living in Toronto. How'd you avoid it?
You're a Dolphins fan in Toronto who doesn't like hockey.
Person, but the hubby goes for Islanders, so I tend to go that way.
There you go.
Wow.
Okay,
a lot of bad
Christina.
choices.
Wait, but you can still answer this question. Are generally people in Toronto rooting for Edmonton or no?
Yes, because it's a Canadian team, and we need to bring the cup back to Canada.
I think
It's
you're
been
right.
30 years.
Yep.
30 years since we've had the cup in Canada.
Christina, have fun watching the game
Leafs
tonight.
aren't gonna
Thank
do
you.
But there's so
I didn't want to
much,
say it when she was on the phone.
so much negativity built up around the Leafs. I feel like that's a huge problem still. And I felt like even if you're celebrating and coming back to Canada, aren't you still a little resentful if you're a Leafs fan?
You know, we could do a whole great debate on that. Is that kind of weak sauce from the other Canadian teams? Like, I get it. I would want the cup back in Canada, too. It's your sport. It's their sport.
Yeah.
But are you really rooting for a team that's not your own? This is, like, what's up with that?
Well,
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think it'd be different if this was the Canadiens in the final.
Sure.
I don't think Leafs fans would be supporting that. The Oilers are safe. Other conference, other side of the country.
Yep.
Right.
It's okay. This is not your rival.
Also, the Bills 13 seconds. Christina's great. Thank you for calling in. Not a collapse.
That was a great moment, though.
Why is that not a
debatable.
collapse? Why is that not a collapse?
There's nothing collapsible about this. This
Yeah.
was 25 points were scored in the final 2 minutes of regulation. That does not signify on both sides.
Get
The
outta
Chiefs
here.
were leading going into the fourth quarter, by the way. And it's not a collapse because I know it was overtime in the Super Bowl that I chose, and Matt Ryan did not get a chance to touch the football.
Right.
Josh Allen didn't get a chance to touch the football. This was a back and forth. This wasn't. It was never one-sided.
It's a defensive collapse.
Wait, this is the most delusional Bills fan take you've ever had.
No, this makes total sense.
Thank you.
Makes total
Collapse
sense.
is
Yeah,
like,
they were up by the game was over.
What was the 3-0 portion equivalent in this
Yeah.
game? What's the 28-3? This was a back and forth affair.
It's the same logic as why Seahawks Patriots is not a collapse.
That was all the other
It was,
time.
it was a terrible mistake, but
So
it's not a
was the-
collapse.
I just the only argument.
Seahawks Patriots. That's one play. This was multiple plays.
Let me just say,
one drive. It was two drives.
Two
It was
drives.
one for the field goal and then the other for the touchdown in overtime.
but the argument was we were saying the interception by Malcolm Butler was not a collapse because it happened too fast. I will give you the 13 seconds is fast, but you can't tell me it was a back and forth game and the Bills didn't blow it. They just got beat. They blew it, right?
See, I see it more that it was back and forth and the Chiefs just had the ball last and the Bills thought that 13 seconds was they could run out the clock, and obviously that wasn't enough. And it was so back and forth. I just see it as, Chiefs had the ball last in regulation and first in overtime.
But we call it 13 seconds in part because we don't think of it as a back and forth game. We think of it as someone blew it.
Okay, but the reality of the game was both teams were scoring at will at the end.
Maggie saying both teams played hard, my man.
No, she's doing this is Serenity Now from Seinfeld, where there's a character who just says a mantra to themselves over and over again to believe it. If you actually Cap can pull the video, her left eye was twitching when she was trying to say that stuff. This is years of therapy have gotten her to the point where she could say it was a back and forth game, not a 13-second collapse.
That was my breakthrough.
Yeah. No, but like it's in there at some point you're gonna scream curse word 13 seconds later in the show probably.
This is what I wake up to every morning.
You're like, it was
a cold sweat, just Tyreek Hill.
You just honestly said it was a back and forth. They had the ball at the end of regulation. They got it first in overtime. Like it was no big thing. It's called 13 seconds.
She was right. She was right. It was just a failure on the coaching. It was a failure on the Bills, like always.
No, it was just 13 seconds. They had plenty of time to drive down for a field goal. That's just a normal give and take in an NFL football game.
When I see collapse, I think of longer, drawn out.
Right. I understand
not
that.
just like, all right, the best quarterback in football led his team on a drive. This is not the same as Brady.
Yeah, I think of failures in the Super Bowl. That's what I think of.
But you can't just say this was led you on a drive.
Why are you taking shots at your work girlfriend? This is your soulmate, 80s rom-com. You're just throwing elbows for no reason.
No, I just felt like taking a shot at the Bills, not at Maggie, at the Bills.
Yeah, sure. Wow. It's all right. I've built up a level of armor that cannot be pierced.
Apparently so. That you all of a sudden now think the 13-second game was not a collapse. It was just a back and forth.
It was a terrible loss. It was
on Sunday.
It's a bad game.
It's not called 13 minutes. It's called 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If it was 13 minutes, it'd be a collapse.
If it was 13 minutes, it would be a collapse.
Yep.
Thank you.
Then it would be the worst
if
collapse.
It was, listen, there was a worse collapse where the Bills against Deshaun Watson in the Houston Texans. That was a collapse.
Oh, yeah, right. History has proven that game, whatever game you're talking about, is much bigger. That has a nickname like 13 seconds. You say 13 seconds, everyone knows exactly what game you're talking about. This supposed Deshaun Watson game.
I'm glad you guys all feel better by just pile driving me into the ground on all occasions.
I got your back. I'm the only one here.
Actually, you know what?
I'm all about fairness. I'm calling it like I see it. This was a collapse.
I did think Giants-Bills was competitive.
Thank you.
Well, the
Scott Norwood is a
Yeah,
collapse.
I thought it was.
All right. Yeah, it was competitive.
I was just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, the Bills, you're right. Like, you can't collapse when you're down 52-14 in the fourth quarter.
Why is this
That's a...
All right, let's go to the headlines here. You're still welcome to weigh in. The worst sports collapse, and this could be...
You know, they kind of collapsed. Like, Josh Allen had a guy open in the end zone last offseason.
Now every loss is a collapse?
Yeah. If he had just...
Every Yankee loss,
if he had gone
every Bills
underneath,
loss
that
now
was...
the show's a collapse,
right.
it sounds like.
You're expanding the definition of the term collapse, and we're losing the thesis here, which is about the Panthers, the Florida Panthers, who are on the verge of the worst collapse in sports history.
Right, and it can't be fast, like the Music City Miracle, for example, if you were...
Yeah, thank you.
This is never
Again,
ending. We have so
wild
much
card
material to work with this Bills humor.
Headlines are sponsored by Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, always putting clients' interests first. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. It started with the current state of Playboy and the girl, then ugly babies. Now we take a swing at relationships with huge age gaps. I'm guessing you guys discussed 72-year-old Bill Belichick dating 23-year-old Jordan Hudson last week when I was not here. The young lady has been called a few things, including a gold digger. So coming to her defense is her ex-boyfriend, a young 64-year-old Joshua Zuckerman. He says that Jordan is wise beyond her years, not your typical 20-something, and he just wishes everyone would leave these two lovebirds alone.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
What did you just say?
Her previous
boyfriend is
suitor
62?
was 64, so she's gone older with Bill Belichick.
And where did he say this? On a tablet that he inscribed it into?
Brought down from the hills, yeah.
Yeah. Certainly not on social media. This
Was he saying that after changing his will?
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
This changes things.
This does. This is
For
now
good or bad, though?
worse for
Well, it's
her.
all bad.
No. This girl's friend's got to get a hold of her. Amanda, we're looking at each other. Like, if your friend dates a 64-year-old and then a 72-year-old, you got to have an intervention.
I can't imagine this woman has a lot of friends.
Why?
I think she's got
Amanda
tons
does.
of friends. What do you mean?
This woman, she does not have a lot
How
of
old
friends.
are her friends?
Right, the friends may be older than you would think, but she's got
Playing
friends.
mahjong with them.
Wait a minute.
She's good at shuffleboard.
Hold on.
Wow, the synergy
Del
in
Boca
that.
Vista.
Go to the beach at 6 a.m.
You guys were all
a
mad
metal
when Bill
detector.
Belichick didn't get a head coaching job, by the way. So now all of a sudden he's playing shuffleboard?
Well, yeah. Also, if you're her parents, that's something. Because is two. What's a trend and what's a pattern? Two's a pattern.
One's
three's-
an accident, two's a trend, three is evidence.
The parents are much younger than the friends.
Parents are like in their 50s.
Yeah, they're respecting their elders. They can't speak badly.
Her mom is way too young for Belichick, let alone her. I mean, her grandmother might be Belichick's age.
It might be Mrs. Belichick. The original.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, this one I don't get. I don't get
She's
it.
clearly,
She's got a type.
yeah, also, she's a gold digger, right?
No, daddy issues.
Oh, okay.
Or Grant. No, it's got to be something. This is old. That's old.
Yeah, it's not just he's older than me. Like that's
10 years.
Right.
38 years is a lot. And to know that this is her type, is this guy, these older guys, I don't think that's just gold digger. I think that's in the cabeza.
And this is 50 years with Belichick. He's 72. She's 23.
My goodness.
It's not that uncommon. That happens a lot.
No,
by
it
the
does
way.
happen. I know.
Yeah, but it's usually Hugh Hefner and a Playboy model. It's not like it's I don't know.
Yeah, but the other guy, the 64-year-old guy was a businessman, Belichick, NFL head coach. She's not going at just a random, grandpa at the senior center. Like, she's clearly.
Well, I don't know. I mean, how far back are we going in entertaining
the two
history?
relationships we know, it was people that had some bread.
Of stature.
And just to recap, on Friday I mentioned that she was when she was born, he was 48.
Yeah.
And the other guy, the younger guy, the baby, he's got a similar story. Like they bonded over talking about like intellectual stuff. And
Catcher in the Rye?
Because on the plane with Belichick, they're like talking about like, a logic book report she was doing.
Right.
And he's saying we bonded over psychology, philosophy, and nature. And then they became romantic.
His pictures of Einstein.
He knew him. My buddy Al.
Maybe she's like an old soul, but like still, she's a
oldest of
young
souls.
person.
Well, the guy also said in this article that he's still friends with her. She said we've had relationship both platonic and romantic. She's still a friend, and I'm tired of seeing my friend get dragged like this.
Can we talk about
Does he not understand why? Not getting dragged, but just that people are remarking about the age difference. Because I bet when they go to dinner, everyone thinks it's his daughter.
Well, it's also 4 o'clock too.
I feel like not that Belichick doesn't get any sympathy from me, but I feel like this is a woman who is trying to take advantage of old rich guys, which whatever I guess. Right. But I think
he's
that is
willing
what's happening.
participant.
Yeah, that is what's happening.
He's got all of his faculties. This is not an Anna Nicole Smith.
I think this woman needs to be hospitalized for nerdness. I mean,
nerdness?
Yeah, she's a. First of all,
is she
she's
gonna
a
see you there?
beauty pageant, lame. She's a former cheerleader, kind of lame. Actually, whatever.
She's a current cheerleader.
She studied philosophy at, get this, Bridgewater State University. Like she's Einstein. Come on, Teddy Bridgewater State University. What the heck is
Teddy Bridgewater?
What is Bridgewater State University? That's where she studied philosophy.
All right, Dartmouth. Don't be a snob about it.
She is as phony as they come, and all her pictures, one is more annoying and fake than the next. I'm sorry.
So you think she's just setting out a trap here?
No, I think honestly, I don't think she is a gold digger. I think she's just a geek.
I don't think a geek is pulling 70-year-olds.
Well, she's cute. That's why she pulls 70-year-olds.
She's okay.
And she's interested. She's maybe more interesting than the other 24-year-olds that maybe these guys are around. Well, maybe that's possible.
100% a lie.
Here's the ultimate.
I don't know. Belichick's around just a lot of jocks. If we want to do the stereotype, it's like
exactly.
I think 50 Rob Gronkowski.
I think for this guy in Belichick, this is the one 24-year-old ever around. So I don't think that she's.
Right. They just hit the jackpot that she's into.
They found the
Voltaire.
One. Right. Yeah. What 24-year-olds are looking for? Bill Belichick.
Well, here's the ultimate indictment of her. She's dating Bill Belichick. What else do we need to know? I mean,
and the other guy was also in his 60s.
Yeah, forget. I don't even care who the other guy is. She's dating the biggest sourpuss in the history of public life. This is not a woman I want to invite over to my house.
No,
I'm
we're
sorry.
told that behind the scenes, Belichick's very funny. I'm sure.
I mean, I'm looking at the picture now. Oh my God.
All I know is if I'm somehow single at 72, I would not believe any 23-year-old woman's actual interest in me. I would never believe
even
that.
If she studied philosophy at Bridgewater State University, which may or may not exist.
Right. Even that. Any combination of degree and university, there's no way I'm believing she's being honest.
You'd be so happy that it's happening. I don't think you'd be questioning what's going on.
Oh, 100%.
You'd be willfully ignorant. And also, here's the thing, like Belichick, I don't know about the other guy, but Belichick, I'm sure there's a couple groupies who have probably thrown themselves at Belichick just by virtue of him being famous. But for her to have the pattern, you guys are your eyes off the ball here. This is a pattern, man.
I know it's a pattern, but I'm saying it's
why is it a pattern is the question. Is it
is it the gold digging or there's something psychologically, some synapses are not firing here.
Right. Is she figured out the path to these guys, or because she's like broken in some way, this is why it ends up in these situations?
Guys should discuss it over a bowl of prunes.
Side of cottage cheese.
While playing bingo.
Drinking some inshore.
All right, Bill Belichick's getting a job and go 11-6 next year. What all of a sudden is Bill Belichick 100? He's 11 years younger than our president of the United States.
Oh yeah, I'm not watching
Not
that.
over there.
By the way,
please.
Oh gosh, Bogusch, thank you for that. We are not above gossiping on this show. We will do it whenever the time presents itself. Coming up, something we do here on Mondays. It's Maggie and Perloff, the M&P 500. Whose stock is up? Whose stock is down after the weekend? We'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
In a kitchen dark with shadows long, Andrew Perloff sings.
Andrew Perloff's got a tale to tell. Thinks he's an Aussie, but you can never tell. Tries to talk like he's from down under, but his accent's thunder. Oh, what a wonder. Andrew makes you belong at the Outback. Not living in the bush, but serving up a snack. Your cheat day sounds more like G9 at the Outback Steakhouse. You'd be just right. Crikey, he says, but it sounds all wrong. Mixes kangaroos with a New York song. Crocodile Dundee would have a laugh if he heard our Andrew with his strange mishmash. Andrew made you belong at the Outback. Not living in the bush, but serving up the snack. Your G-Day sounds more like G-Night. At the Outback Steakhouse, you'd be just right. Foster's in his hand, trying to fit in, but his mates back home just chuckle and grin. He should be slinging steaks, not slinging slang. In the kitchen's where he can really hang. And your mate, you belong at the Outback, not living in the bush, but serving up a snack. Your G-Day sounds more like G-Night. At the Outback Steakhouse, you'd be just right. So here's to Perloff, I wanna be Aussie. And your mate, you belong at the Outback, not living in the bush, but serving up a snack. Your G-Day sounds more like.
Oh, Maggie Gray on the radio waves, talking sports and scores and the games we crave. But when she's done with touchdowns and three-point shots, she dives into conspiracies and connects the dots. Oh, Maggie Gray, with your wild theories, you make history sound like a daytime series. From grassy knolls to the CIA, what will you dream of?
Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. All right, we do this on Mondays, the M&P 500. Whose stock's up? Whose stock is down after the weekend, Pearl? Who is stock up?
I'm going to start with the Olympic trials in Indianapolis. Katie Ledecky won the 1,500 meter as usual. If you happen to watch it on TV, it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen because she wins by 20 seconds. Do you know what 20 seconds in swim time is? It's like an hour. She's sitting there checking her watch. No one's on the screen when she's coming in. Like, no one's anywhere near the screen. And she's sitting there for 20 whole seconds waiting for the second place to come in. Now, I went to a swim meet with my daughter this weekend. It was quite similar, except my daughter was on the other end, the 20 seconds behind. It is crazy how good she is. And just a reminder, oh, man, we're about to celebrate her once again. She might be she's right up there as the greatest Olympic athlete of all time. I guess the world is catching up to her a little bit, but U.S. sure isn't. So that's my stock up.
Look at you, Mr. Olympics, Andrew Perloff. My stock up this weekend, Jordan Love. Did you guys see he got engaged? A couple reasons for the Packers QB to have stock up. So getting engaged, so we love love around here. Our own EJ Stewart also engaged. It's a fun time to be to be in love. And then he's obviously on the doorstep of a pretty big contract. He's gotten really tight-lipped about it. It's gotten a little quiet. I feel like this is
getting some money.
A calm before the storm. You want to hit him up for a wedding gift? Calm before the storm type thing where I think he is going to get paid. All parties want this to happen. So Jordan Love for the Packers, big time stock up. Well, the stock's going to go up. Stock's got to go down. Pearl, who is having a rough weekend?
Okay, I've thought a lot about this team over the years. The Bolivian soccer team is not having a good weekend in the sense that I watched the U.S. beat them in the Copa, and I was all excited. And then afterwards, the announcer said, don't read anything into this. This is the worst soccer team in the world, Bolivia. And I knew nothing about this, but apparently the U.S.'s 2-0 win over Bolivia was a huge disappointment because everybody just whoops on Bolivia. Had no idea. I thought it was a wonderful place to visit. So I just was laughing all weekend long about how bad Bolivia is, apparently. Stock down. But I know. Everyone, people
You're
are like,
kill our ratings in Bolivia, by the way.
people are like, well, U.S. gets a real test when they take on Panama. I'm like, why is Bolivia worse than Panama? Apparently, they're the worst soccer team that's ever been put together.
Aw.
I don't know.
Let's go Bolivia.
Wait, we don't have a Bolivia audience. Wait, I'm supposed to feel bad because Bolivia is bad at
The
soccer?
audience might appreciate this because Perloff is pointing out that they need changes over there.
Yeah.
Well, U.S. has been bad at soccer for 60 years. Like, that's what we're supposed to feel bad about, not about Bolivia.
I love an underdog story, so let's go Bolivia.
Yeah, we're the underdog.
With their
The
rock
US,
bottom.
we are the underdog. We're the underdog.
Yeah, fair. For me, stock down, it's got to be Jeanie Buss. It comes out over the weekend that, they really wanted JJ Redick. She was disappointed, very disappointed that they didn't get, Dan Hurley. They hired JJ Redick. Disappointed that they didn't get Dan Hurley, really wanted Dan Hurley, and now it feels like this consolation prize with JJ Redick. I think that people looked at that whole coaching situation, and because Jeanie is the ultimate decision maker, kind of looked at it as a reason to look at her, point, and laugh. And the Lakers have become a punchline, and I think Jeanie Buss is the figurehead there of this punchline. And she's not the only reason why they are people don't trust that front office, but she's definitely one of the reasons. And so for that, I would say Jeanie Buss, stock down.
Yeah, it's a shame because I think we all like Jeanie Buss. She seems to come off very well. This whole thing, the mess of who's controlling the Lakers, one, it's frustrating. But B, if it really is Jeanie, I kind of blame her for this because I think they could have made a better offer. And if that's who she really wanted and he really was open to the job, then they probably could have gotten him. Then again, those are big ifs.
Big ifs, and I listen, I will kind of be on her side in this instance, which is $70 million an insulting offer? It's still $20 million more than he got from UConn. I know people say taxes this, taxes that. I mean, maybe Dan Hurley overreached.
Maybe not insulting offer, but it obviously wasn't enough to get him.
It wasn't, but again, as Linda Rambis rightly pointed out in that small council meeting, if you will, in the Brain Trust, she said, are we paying all this money for someone who's never coached the NBA? And I think that's fair because Dan Hurley has never coached in the NBA.
But he is coming off 2 national titles. I mean,
so is Billy Donovan, and it's been fine with Billy Donovan. He hasn't won anything.
Well, I don't know. It feels different. It feels like Danny Hurley has made more of an imprint as sort of the leader of that team than Billy Donovan did. And it's totally different. But Harbaugh got one of the top contracts in the league. And I know he has I know he has experience, but it's still similar. I think the reason Harbaugh is hot now is because they just won the title. I think Danny Hurley gets the first or second largest contract offer next year. So if somebody else can do it, that makes the Lakers look even worse.
Can I also do stock down myself?
Yeah, what did you got?
6 people staying in my home this weekend.
Right.
In town for several birthdays.
That sounds nice.
Air conditioner broke.
Oh. How hot was it?
Real feel 101.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Outside.
What was it inside?
And we got it.
Same.
78 or 80. We got it fixed. The guy showed up 20 minutes after everybody left.
Oh, nice.
There we go. 855-212-4227. Joke's on me. Good weekend besides that, though. Okay, coming up, we are relitigating history in a way that you will never imagine.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Hockey delivering. Game 7 tonight, Edmonton on the cusp of making history, Perloff. I know that there has been one other time a team has come back from being down 3-0 in a Stanley Cup final to come back and win. But it was 1942, the Maple Leafs. We can't even recognize the sport from back then to today. So this feels like modern. And Edmonton has the best player in the league in Connor McDavid and the biggest star. And if they pull off this reverse sweep on the Florida Panthers, it will put McDavid into a completely different conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 1942, so I would say that the underdogs are due. It's been 80 years. Again, another reason I like Edmonton. No, this is huge for two things, because of the comeback, but really because Connor McDavid, the star that I think the NHL will honestly admit they've wanted to see ascend to this level, because he hadn't done anything in the playoffs. And now, if he wins, like, it's part of history. It'll take him off. It'll take the sport off. And I think when he comes back next year, it's like everyone's going to be watching McDavid. It's great for hockey. And again, I think we differ a little bit. I don't think I'm going to read too much in the momentum, because once the puck drops tonight, everything starts anew. I'm not counting out Florida. Remember last year, the Heat blew a 3-0 lead to the Celtics, came back and totally dominated them in Game 7, so it does happen.
Yeah, I think there's a part of this that feels almost inevitable for Edmonton. I hate to say that for the Florida Panthers. I think it is just confidence all-time high. I think that this is just feels like, you know, we were talking about the worst collapses in the history of sports before. And if Florida is on the wrong side of this, they are going to be in that conversation. We talked about a couple of specifics, right? About the Mets in 1986, the Boston Red Sox having a lead. That was Game 6. There was a Game 7. Nobody in their right mind thought that Boston was going to come back and win that Game 7. There have been others where it's once you get control of the series, you don't give it back. And Edmonton, not only are the Stars playing well now, and Draisaitl got his first assist in the last game, the depth on this team is just better. It's been better than Florida. So we are asking you on Twitter, on X, if the Florida Panthers lose tonight, would this be the worst collapse in sports history? And so far, 61% are saying yes. And I don't think that's prisoner of the moment. This would be an all-time, especially with Game 7 on your home ice. So you are welcome to weigh in not only on our great debate question today. We moved our Wednesday segment to Monday. Greatest sports collapse of all time. And also, would this be the worst if indeed we get it tonight? So a lot to chew on there. Okay. We got to get to this story because I've never seen anything like this before, Pearl, and I don't know if you have either. There was an article over the weekend that went viral, and the article has to do with Michael Jordan winning the Defensive Player of the Year award in 1987-88 season. Now you're asking, Maggie, why would we ever relitigate this Defensive Player of the Year award that happened in the 80s, considering everything we know about Michael Jordan, all the championships he won in the 90s? Why are we going back and doing this? And It's because a journalist named Tom Haberstroh, smart basketball guy, wrote an article for Yahoo that went back and looked at the two biggest statistical advantages that Jordan had in that Defensive Player of the Year race. And it was blocks and it was steals. And those are the two categories, Perloff, that really catapulted Jordan because he had this all-time great year with blocks and steals that basically handed him the Defensive Player of the Year award. According to Tom Haberstroh, and going back through, Jordan was the beneficiary of some home cooking, which is double the amount of steals and blocks were given to him at home when he's playing in Chicago as opposed to on the road. Now, that happens sometimes. Sometimes the stats, Pearl, can be off a little bit.
Right.
But to this degree, makes it look like this crazy anomaly that Jordan was getting almost 5.5 steals at home and like 2.5 blocks from a guard position is very, very rare. And it's very much an outlier to the other great defensive seasons that he's had. So you do a little bit more digging, and this is the article that goes into it. Jordan was very focused on winning Defensive Player of the Year that year because he felt like he wasn't getting enough credit for the great defense he was playing. He was known at that time as a scorer only, and he thought he was getting slighted because people weren't paying attention enough to his defense.
Okay.
So he had a motivation, is what the article is alleging. He also had a bit of an accomplice. At least the article is alleging this. The scorekeeper, who was legendary in Chicago, started with the Bulls in the 60s and didn't retire until 2023. And he was somebody who was very much keeping Jordan aware of where he was statistically. So he would show Jordan like how far away he was from triple doubles in real time. And if there were any records that he was on the cusp of breaking, he would give him a signal or whatever, and try to help him along. So these two guys definitely had a relationship, a close one, and maybe he was helping him out. There is a third layer to this. And again, we're talking about an article that went viral that relitigates Michael Jordan's 1987-88 Defensive Player of the Year award, saying that he may have gotten a boost on statistics that he didn't earn, blocks and steals, because those are judgment calls by the scorekeeper. The LeBron James aspect. There are many who believe that James can't touch Jordan, first because of the championships and going 6 for 6 in finals, but Perloff also because James is not thought of as the great defender that Michael Jordan is, even though LeBron's made all defensive teams. But the fact that Jordan was a Defensive Player of the Year does separate him in some people's eyes with the LeBron debate. So did I do a good enough job of laying everything out from that article?
Yeah, but all your details are completely meaningless. None of that means anything. The only line here, and by the way, I've never once heard that Defensive Player of the Year used in the Jordan versus LeBron debate. But here is the line from Bob Habestraw. His original tweet, new report, a closer look at Michael Jordan's 1988 DPOY award raises questions about its validity, which you explained very well and makes a lot of sense. The next line from Tom Habestraw wrote this: has LeBron James been chasing a ghost? What? Are you insane, Tom Habestraw? You're saying that the invalidity of this award is such a game changer in this debate? Nobody on earth knows. Okay, maybe I'm naive, but nobody knows how many MVPs Jordan or LeBron won. Nobody knows how many individual awards. All they know is that Jordan won 6 titles and was the best player on earth, and LeBron has 4. Nobody is parsing this stuff out. Nobody knows Jordan's steal numbers. I've never heard that as part of this debate. And now, to say that this article means that LeBron's been quote unquote chasing a ghost, as if Michael Jordan's accomplishments are phony. That's out of control. That is way too far.
Yeah, I don't think it's that Michael Jordan's that it's all phony. I think it's just interesting that LeBron did come in second. He came in runner-up one year for Defensive Player of the Year, and he's had 4 top 5 finishes. And you might not use that as a cog in the Jordan-LeBron wheel of debate, but Stephen A. Smith will bring it up a lot, right? That's the separator, is that Jordan has this Defensive Player of the Year sort of driving the point home that he was the better defender than LeBron. And listen, he just, I guess, was. I mean, we could litigate that, but without the Defensive Player of the Year award, if you're looking at the resumes, that's one thing that LeBron definitely does not have, and that Jordan does.
Okay, how many MVPs does LeBron have?
4.
How many does Jordan have?
5?
I believe 5.
Yeah, but I mean, people don't know this off the top of their head. That's my point. And I'm sorry. I didn't even know LeBron had 4. I had no idea. It just says, honestly, this is about the rings, but it's not even about that. It's about the fact that Jordan was a singular force. He won 6 titles in 8 years. And LeBron just has not exactly been that. He's been very close. But I think that this level of detail and this idea that LeBron James has, quote unquote, been chasing a ghost, honestly, I'm sorry, Tom Habestraw. I mean, there are enough people who are alive who saw Jordan do this.
Well,
this is not
where the ghost thing comes from. That was LeBron himself who said after.
No, I didn't know that.
After he won the title with Golden State, I believe, is after that against Golden State. they said he was asked by somebody about his motivation. He goes, well, I know I'm always chasing a ghost, and that ghost lives in Chicago. So it was the idea that he was always going to be trying to chase down Jordan's legacy. And
so why does Tom say, has LeBron been chasing a ghost? He's just referencing that?
I think he's referencing that. And also, is he chasing something because if
it's not real?
Or that Defensive Player of the Year award may have been under some false pretenses. And if that is one of the things you'd use to separate Jordan versus LeBron, well, maybe that's worth a second look. Listen,
it feels to
it's
me,
a
by the way,
crazy story.
I actually disagree with you. I think he's specifically saying what he's chasing is not real. That's what he means by has LeBron James been chasing a ghost.
But that would be unfair because Jordan also has more titles and he also has more MVP. Like he already has, but LeBron has more points. This is why this debate will go on until the end of time.
LeBron has more points because he's playing until he's 73 years old.
I know. Still playing at a high level, but I get your point.
But anyway, it's just it's such an odd story because it feels so manipulative. That's why I think, regardless of the detail.
Are you fine with him going back and looking over the steals and the blocks and just sort of like taking a deeper dive? Are you offended that he would even look into and try to pull back the curtain on that season?
I could care less. I honestly, Defensive Player of the Year, it's first of all, Rudy Gobert keeps winning it. Anyone who doesn't think that's a stupid award is just not paying any attention. And I got in a fight with Chris Mannix about this. I'm like, you guys should all be stripped of your vote for giving it to Rudy Gobert every year. You obviously don't understand the first thing about basketball. I actually said that to Chris many times to his face.
Yeah.
It's an idiotic award. It is legitimately means nothing. In fact, it's quite the exact opposite. They're giving it to one of the biggest defensive liabilities on the court. Wins a Defensive Player of the Year every year.
Okay,
so regardless,
but it's not seen that way for Jordan. For Jordan, it is seen as an accomplishment.
I've talked Jordan LeBron 1,000 times. I've never once mentioned that Defensive Player of the Year award. I vaguely knew what happened. I had no idea how many steals he had that year. And also, too, that wasn't a championship year, so who cares?
I think that might be the biggest thing that makes this semi-irrelevant, is that if this was a championship year, we could say, hey, the year Jordan, 93, he got the Defensive Player of the Year, he beat the Knicks, then he beat the Suns, and it was just incredible. That'd be different. Now, 88 for Jordan fans is considered like a golden year because he did all these amazing things. Not only Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, also MVP of the All-Star Game, Slam Dunk champion. It was awesome. But still, it's before really the true legend was created, right? Their legend was created with the 6 titles.
Right.
So when you go back to 88 and say, well, this thing that happened in 88 before he won any championships is somehow a difference maker in the argument, I think it's tough for anybody making that case to say.
Again, we're going back. There was an article that was written by Tom Haberstroh, went viral. It goes back and looks and takes a deeper dive into Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year award in 1987-1988 season, where it looks like he was the beneficiary of a home scorekeeper inflating his blocks and steals stats, where he was given credit for steals that either the possession actually didn't change hands, where the ball was poked out of bounds. He was given credit for blocks, even though he may have actually fouled the person on the shot block attempt, things that are supposed to erase that from the record book, but he was actually given credit, a little star treatment from a scorekeeper who he had a very close relationship with, only after he was upset that he lost Defensive Player of the Year the season before to Michael Cooper of the Lakers. Cooper was given the award because he was more of a denier, right? He was so good at defense and getting in lanes. He was more of a ball denier as opposed to steals and blocks.
Yeah, Michael Cooper was super.
He's
That's all he did was defense.
No, he's awesome. So here's where I think it matters a little bit. I'm just resetting that for the audience about why are we talking about the 88 Defensive Player of the Year award on June 24th of 2024. There's a GOAT debate. And when it's Jordan, LeBron in the greatest of all time debate, while you might not use that Perloff, the Defensive Player of the Year, it is there on the resume. If you're saying who's the greatest player of all time, both doing it on both ends of the floor. And even Jordan in real time understood that it was important to be viewed as a great defender. Now, we didn't know in 1988 that we were going to have basically an entire decade called the 90s where he was going to take the strongest defensive assignment in the last 5 minutes of every finals game that mattered, And Pippen was also an incredible defender, but Jordan was like, I'm taking the guy, He has a lot of those moments where he took on that defensive assignment in the crunch time, along with Scottie.
One of the things that also hurts this as well is we could talk about steals and blocks and maybe they cooked the stats and maybe that influenced voters. But if you go to the advanced statistics from that year, Jordan's advanced statistics are awesome defensively that don't include blocks and steals.
Sure.
So you're talking about defensive win shares, defensive box plus minus. Like there are other factors that we now have at our disposal to show that Jordan was still arguably the best defender in the league that year that don't include stats and blocks. So if you're going to make this case that, well, they're cooking his stats, don't you have to tell the whole story about, well, what else did he do that perhaps maybe gave him that award?
Sure.
Well, one thing, by the way,
do you think the writers back then had no clue
but
what
I
they
think,
were looking at?
but the point though is that he's trying to say that Jordan. I think the inference is that Jordan didn't deserve this award, and there's other metrics that show he definitely at least should have been in consideration and probably should have won.
Right, but that they may have like backed into the right decision.
But what difference does it make? You're saying LeBron is chasing ghosts. He's not. He's chasing a guy who won the award, maybe on a pretense that was false, but other stats show that he was still a great defender.
But I've watched a million Michael Jordan games. Like, he did that superstar thing where he was playing the lanes. Him and Larry Bird, like, he came down the court, like, they were playing for those steals. Like, and they were brilliant. Like, him and Larry, especially at a key moment, they just knew where the ball was going. Like, and you know who else does that? LeBron. LeBron's a sick defender. Like, nobody, even if you're doing, like, I remember just 2 years ago, LeBron, or maybe it was in the bubble, he's like, I'm going to shut down Jamal Murray or somebody. I was like, oh, that's terrifying. Kobe was a sick defender. I don't think there's such a distinction. I'm not sure. Maybe Stephen A. is doing that, but I'm not sure the distinction on the defense, because everyone knows if LeBron wants to cover you, like, that's lights out. Yeah. That's horrible for an offensive player. I don't think that's like a key distinction in the Jordan camp.
Well, I think the only thing that hurts him, though, is he does have these matchups with Kevin Durant where Durant scored a lot of points.
On
and
LeBron?
Jordan, on the whole team. He was killing everybody, but LeBron, sure.
Wait,
Jordan
you
doesn't
talking
have
about the
that.
Warriors?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was because they were warrior balling it up. That wasn't anything that often. The defense can't do anything when Steph Curry's 40 feet out there and the balls are moving like crazy.
LeBron's
Those are
man,
not
this is Kevin
one-on-one
Durant,
matchups.
he's got scoring. But either way, I think Jordan doesn't have that, right? Jordan doesn't have, Dan Marley went off in the finals, and even if Jordan still won, there wasn't a Hershey Hawkins had a big, or Jeff Hornacek. Like, he doesn't have that. So I think when you talk about defense, in some ways, like, I think the finals results also kind of carry the weight for Jordan as well.
Did you call him Hershey Hawkins?
No, Hershey.
I thought there was an H in there. Okay.
No, but this is the point. It's like, if the retelling of this is correct, again, it's an article that went viral looking closely at Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year award in 1987, 1988, showing that he got maybe some home cooking from a statistician who was crediting him with blocks and steals that he shouldn't have been credited with. But again, at the time, he wanted his defense to be known because we didn't know we were going to watch 6 finals where he was going to be great and 6 playoff runs and championship runs where he was going to be awesome on defense. He didn't need that, and he would have been known as a great defender anyway. So it was very much about perception, which Jordan cared very much about, and about slights. And we know Jordan has the ultimate chip on the shoulder guy, and he would invent them, and the people not respecting his defense in going into the 87-88 season was a big thing for him.
I just think this makes LeBron look corny if he has anything to do with this.
Okay, so that's the other part of it. I'm glad you brought that up. So there's another layer on top of this whole thing, if you can believe that, which is an idea that this is actually something that was maybe brought to Tom Haberstrow's attention by LeBron's camp. Like, there's a conspiracy or a little Machiavellian to try to win this debate in the court of public opinion between LeBron and Jordan, that they're trying to chip away a bit at Jordan's, immaculate sort of reputation, his pristine sort of image as the great basketball savior, that perhaps Perloff, he got something that he didn't deserve.
That's so silly. I mean, it's unbelievable. Actually, I'm not blaming you over this, but sometimes at LeBron camp, one time you said to me, like, there's nothing LeBron can do to change this debate. And I'm like, yeah, you can't go back in the past and take titles away from Michael Jordan. And LeBron, I'm assuming, is past his peak. So, no, like, the idea that you go back and rewrite history sounds insane. Like, it sounds
no.
completely
What I meant by
absurd.
that is that there's no other achievement that LeBron could have at this point that's ever going to change the mind of a Michael Jordan
So
fan.
you're saying a 40-something LeBron can win this debate by winning another title, but he's not going to be the primary guy on a title team.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but
There's
he's like, because
nothing
he's
he could
40.
do.
Because he's 40. Not because, like, he could have, like the debate, I mean, come on, he's past his peak. You have to admit, like, it's kind of over as far as his Jordan chasing Jays.
Yeah, probably. But again, if you're not, you could be somebody who thinks that that LeBron did enough in his peak to be considered with Jordan.
Absolutely.
Right.
But this idea when they're both retired that you can actually go back and do something to change the debate, it seems so silly to me. Like it already happened and it's just a debate. Like you can't go back and nobody's debunking Michael Jordan. This just seems, unless you find out PEDs, and let's be honest, we're opening that conversation. It's a whole new thing. Like there's nothing that can really take away from what Jordan did. It's a nice effort. It's kind of cute and it's really funny. But
cute effort to try to
but if anything,
his defensive player of the year.
Has LeBron been chasing something that isn't there? That's insane because we have footage of this. Like we have a million games. I mean, you just see Michael Jordan jumping up and switching hands against the Lakers in the finals. Like no stat matters. It's funny to me. So the debate, I love that it rages on like this. But this one seems, as EJ kind of said, a little desperate by the LeBron camp, if it really came from the LeBron camp.
Listen, you guys know me. Throw the tinfoil hat on anytime I possibly can when it comes to sports. I don't think this came from his camp. I don't. But I think Tom Haberstroh has done this kind of deep dive before. There was a thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. when there was a question about whether he was getting some home cooking on some rebounding stats with the Memphis Grizzlies. And it turned out not to be true.
Well, if that's the case, he should have left LeBron out of this tweet altogether. Like, he should not have brought up LeBron.
Oh, well, maybe he thought to get it more attention, you have to tie it with LeBron.
But it assumes that Jordan winning Defensive Player of the Year is the reason why we think he's better than LeBron James, which is just insane.
No, that's
like is it something that people use? Something I've used? Yes. Do I think that if we took that away, you can give that award away and give it to LeBron James, and I'm still telling you Michael Jordan's to go 10 times out of 10.
Right, so it might not do anything to change anyone's mind, which again is I don't know why I don't think this is the LeBron camp. I think this is a reporter who's done stuff like this. Maybe got tipped off by somebody, because here's the other part of it. It's such a statistical anomaly for those blocks and steals the year that Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year in 87-88. You almost wonder if anyone in the league office got a little tipped off either by opponents or something saying like, why is he getting all these credit for these blocks and steals? It just doesn't seem right. And David Stern told him to knock it off.
Well, it's not that much of an anomaly. He led the league in steals 3 times. He had 1.5 blocks the year before.
No, the home road splits.
Oh, the home road
splits
right.
are
But then that's all fallen apart in the days since, right? That every great player has ridiculous.
He also led the league in assists in 93.
But not to this level. The home road splits in this particular year were off the charts, like 82% higher at home than on the road. Crazy stuff, and it never happened again. So I wonder if maybe the league office they might have been fielding complaints from other people.
And that might have been the
Opponents.
case. Yeah, no, it definitely could have been the case. I just know that he did lead the league in steals again in 93, which is years away. Now, there was another discrepancy. You're talking about 126 steals compared to 95.
Right. I mean, his defensive stats were almost the same the year before. The year before he was 2.9 steals. They went up to 3.2. The year before he was 1.5 blocks, went up to 1.6. It might have been a 2-year project by the scorekeeper anyway.
And you always say don't get 100 on the test, if you're going to cheat. Like, you just got to soft launch this thing the first season, see if anybody notices, and then really go in the second year. Anyway, a little something interesting that happened over the weekend. If you're into that kind of thing, 855-212-4227, a little relitigation of history. We got the present to take care of, though. So much happening this weekend, including the one piece of sound you have to hear from the weekend. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. So the Travelers was this weekend, if you're not keeping score at home, of your PGA tournament. And I was kind of sort of half paying attention because Scottie Scheffler was winning again, and he's having this historic year. I know you're really putting him high up, really, as a promising historic golfer, maybe even someday in the Tiger conversation. I'm not quite there yet. I would like to see it. But then all that was sort of took a backseat to what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, this was at the 18th. Him and, was it Tom Kim? Is that
I think
his
it's
name?
Tom, yeah.
Tom Kim, they're on 18. Tournament's coming to this dramatic conclusion, and then we get this on the 18th green.
We've got a whole group of protesters here. And they've been tackled on the ground, on the green. Police have responded quickly, but we've got, I see 4 protesters that have been handcuffed.
I don't get the USA chant, but okay. This was Extinction Rebellion NYC. They're protesting the worldwide danger of climate breakdown. They started spraying smoke and powder everywhere, Perloff. It was like a 5-minute delay as the cops are taking out these protesters in handcuffs, and then everything had to settle down a little bit. Kim ends up forcing a one-hole playoff, and then Scottie Scheffler wins the tournament on that one-hole playoff. So it was crazy dramatic, and I think this might be the craziest thing we've ever seen in a golf course.
That can't be right.
In a professional tournament?
Really? I mean, there's a long history of golf courses. There's got to be crazier things.
Have you seen like alligators on the golf course?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, wildlife, definitely. I mean, you have guys who have to hit out of the water, and these weird hazards, but
I mean, we're talking a long history. There's never been a
crowd interference.
There's been famous crowd interference stories, right? None are jumping to mind.
I don't know. This might be one of the craziest things we've seen on a golf course is have the protesters come out. I don't even remember if this ever happened in the 60s and 70s when.
Well, we've had a lot of sporting events with these because the NBA games had this thing where there was climate protesters, right? Again and again and again. I don't know. I got to think of something here. I think an alligator is a number one seed here, or a crocodile.
So I tried to look it up, and if you just look up the craziest things that have happened on the golf course, you're generally getting people banging into each other in golf carts tipping over, two people getting in a fist fight. We've seen a lot of those viral videos of people getting in fist fights on golf courses. At a professional event, though, this one was pretty crazy.
Get into a fist. Like golf, it's supposed to be. I know it can be frustrating, but that's not a sport where you should be fist fighting. Like now, I hate to be on the Perloff bandwagon of that this is golf, but like basketball pickup, I can see. Okay, yes, it gets a little physical. I don't know, even like a softball game or a baseball game, someone gets hit or whatever. There's no reason to be throwing hands at a golf course.
No, you're wrong about this.
Yeah,
it's because it's actually more inviting for these kinds of things because it's all unwritten rules. It's like, did you break some unwritten rule of, are you taking too long? Did you play through somebody's shot? I don't think those should lead to people fighting. Right. But add alcohol and anything will lead to a fight.
As a former drink cart driver,
you're the cart girl.
I was hot too. These things are not usually, the fights are not usually within the playing group. It's group to group because the guys in front are playing slow. The guy behind hits into them and they start chirping. And then you can't escape somebody. So that's where the fights come from. If
What's
you don't
the
fight your
craziest
buddy,
thing you saw driving the cart, being the beverage cart person?
I mean, guys just being really drunk and driving the cart where they're not supposed to. I mean, it was a public course in Queens, so it wasn't any kind of high end. So it was more riffraff than anything. But nothing.
What was your best selling item?
Always beer.
Wait, did you do that famous par 3 course in Queens that everybody gets drunk and plays at?
No.
Do you know that one? There's one that's
at Reese Park, I believe.
Yeah. There's one that all my friends are like, let's go party and do this.
I worked
super fun.
at Forest Park Golf Course in Queens, right in the middle.
That's classy.
Woodhaven, very classy. One of the better public courses then. I don't know how it is now.
I mean, I just imagine people just being blind drunk and just running the golf carts into something. But again, this is a professional tournament where the protesters came out. It's crazy. Nothing else came to mind. Nothing else popped up in any of these articles. Like, hey, this hasn't happened since 1975. And they were, protesting the oil companies or something.
What are you expecting? A giant monster truck to come on the
I don't know. But Perloff's like, there has to have been something crazier.
Well, I mean,
Look it up. It's not. There's not.
We've seen tons of sporting events where protesters have run onto the field. Tons. Right.
I know, but not in golf, dude.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm just actually honestly asking. No one's ever protested a golf tournament?
I mean, I read 15 articles on this thing, and I did not see one reference to another time this happened.
The wildest thing from this story to me was that no balls, no markers were affected. I mean, you got guys being tackled and thrown around, guys running around, and you're on the 17th or 18th hole, rather, and none of the markers get messed up.
Maybe they were being really respectful of the sight line.
And there's never been like
these guys
it's
that
a putting
respectful
line.
to me.
It's still as he's getting dragged away in handcuffs, like it's still running left to right.
And the good fortune, they waited and they were patient, and then they ended up with this coming down to the last hole when they come running out, the perfect time.
Honestly, if it had been like a 10-stroke lead, they would have not had the impact that they were hoping it would have.
Okay, like I think this kind of stuff. U.S. Open, fan runs on the 13th fairway, hits 2 golf balls, gets tackled by 6 cops. Like, I think this has happened.
How was he able to hit 2 golf balls?
I have no idea.
How do you get into the event with a golf club?
I think he kicked them. I don't see a golf club in his head.
That shouldn't be allowed.
That'd be the coolest thing ever.
This is 2021. Like, I think there's been tons of fan interference.
Although this is very funny. You guys obviously have been to golf tournaments, and I know this is allowed and maybe it's encouraged because you're walking the course, but people who wear spikes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you worried that somehow Scottie Scheffler is going to pull a hamstring and you're going to have to go in?
But there was the event recently-ish where the guy won and his buddy, who was also a golfer, went out onto the green to celebrate, and he got tackled by security. We did have that. That was
that was
a thing.
the 2 Norwegian guys or the 2 Irish guys. I can't remember.
I think so.
2 Canadians. It was Adam Hadwin.
Oh my God, Perloff.
Yeah.
2 Canadians and 2 Irish guys walking to a golf course.
They came up in
Thank
Canada.
God you picked those 3 places. This could have gotten way offensive.
Wait, what do you mean?
You're wildly guessing on where these
Well, I
people
remember
are from.
it was Adam Hadwin and another Canadian golfer.
And maybe the anniversary just came up because I remember seeing there was a security guard in the golf, like, hey, we're friends now.
No,
I think me for no reason.
the other guy just won a tournament, and that's why it was in. Anyway, let me just give you a little bit of the guy. And the guy came on the 13th fairway.
What year is this?
This is 2021.
Okay.
Dropped 2 balls, hit one of them dancing, then hit another one, then egged on a security guard before attempting to run away. Then the Bryson DeChambeau says, I'm just glad an officer clotheslined him. That was fun. Then took him down and got him out of there like it should be. This is awesome. I'll bet you a lot of fun stuff has happened, not like this serious
Yeah, this
stuff.
is serious. I guess the other part, too, is, if you're going to be one of these people, like, say, a streaker, right? Streaker comes out at the Super Bowl. Streaker comes out at a soccer match. There's only so far you can go. The golf course, though, if you're fast, you could really just keep running and running. There's multiple exits.
And then blend right back into the crowd.
Maybe.
Right, and I wouldn't think the golf guards are, at football games, like you need in-shape guards to keep the fan. I don't know.
Here we go again. Fat golfers, fat golf security.
I mean, golf security. We know something about
not everybody's fat at these things.
You've been to a golf tournament. It's not like it's different, right? Like everybody's sort of.
I don't know. I've seen fat guys in the outfield of a baseball stadium chasing guys forever too. They're not the spryest of athletes, tracking dudes down.
Someone got tased at a baseball game.
Yeah.
Good grief. All right. Do we have time for headlines?
Sure, why not? 2 titles. One tonight, Game 7 for the Panthers and Oilers in Florida, and Game 3 for Tennessee and Texas A&M in Omaha. Yes, it's June 24th, and there's still college baseball. Neither program has won the College World Series before, but the SEC is guaranteed its 5th straight champion. It is decision week for the Golden State Warriors. Chris Paul's $30 million salary becomes fully guaranteed on Friday. Golden State might keep him to trade him down the road, or the Dubs could release him. The Lakers have been linked to CP3 on the open market, but Mark Stein reported over the weekend that the Lakers' interest is not unanimous among those in the front office.
By the way, spoiler, nothing's ever going to be unanimous because you got 20 people who are helping to make every decision. If it was unanimous, you'd have a bunch of sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So this is always going to have dissent.
Or it's just LeBron wants him and nobody else does.
That should be a unanimous no. Can we all agree on that? I mean, come on. If you're actually increasing the average age of this team, you're going the wrong direction.
Did you see, though, it's like this will help J.J. Redick somehow because Chris Paul's all his experience.
Well, Chris Paul's having a renaissance because the character in that show Clipped is amazing. Like, he is just a killer.
Are you still watching that?
No, but I get the clips of Chris Paul being like, if I don't win this title, I'm going to die.
Oh, I did see that clip. That clip was hilarious.
Well,
yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Well, we all know what happens.
Remember
Guess what?
He said, I'm addicted to being in the finals. And everybody's like, well, he's sober now.
No, I didn't see that. Yeah, the whole subplot is not even about Donald Trump. It's about Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, half the show, which is awesome. But they cannot add him to the Lakers, right? Can we just help out Jeanie Buss here? Do not take Chris Paul.
I'm already so sick of the Lakers. It's not even the NBA draft yet.
They might as well bring in Aaron Rodgers into the ownership mix just to make this the team overkill.
We haven't even gotten to the introductory press conference for JJ yet.
I thought they did that already.
Nope. It's today, baby.
Come on.
I don't even think the Lakers ever truly even confirmed that he was the coach.
Agreed.
I'll have a bunch of questions. They should have me at the press conference.
What's the first thing you would ask?
You're going to cancel that stupid podcast. Second of all, are you going to drink wine on the sidelines? Third of all, you're going to put on a suit on the sidelines. And fourth of all, how are you going to make this team younger?
You're wearing Laker purple today, by the way.
Thank you.
That's your third question.
Are you gonna? Yeah, by the way, you got to go full Pat Riley and look nice, right?
Oh yeah, I wear a tuxedo.
Top hat, tails, cane. Does he shuffle along the sideline?
It's a peanut.
Only guys that look good wearing suits: Pat Riley, Chuck Daly.
I love that Pete once asked, "Are you going to drink wine during the game?"
Because I am.
Yeah. It's in a Gatorade cup.
It's a Beaujolais.
Yeah.
See, if you had a suit on, you could do that.
What's the right wine for a Wednesday night game in Sacramento?
It pairs nicely with playing the Dallas Mavericks.
One other NBA note, former Pistons GM Troy Weaver reportedly joining the Wizards front office based on his Detroit track record. He is going there to do not what he thinks they should do. I mean, why? Really?
Is that serious?
Yeah.
Next, he's hired a psychologist.
Yeah. They've been bad for how many years? They won 14 games in 4 years, and the Wizards go, you know what? We need your advice. Come on down,
general
Troy.
Manager who has a team worse than their team to consult them. Are they serious?
What does Troy want to do? Okay, we're not going to do that.
I want one of these jobs. How do we get one of these jobs?
Well, Pete's been asking for months, and no one says yes.
No, sorry, not that. Where you just keep failing and getting rehired. Like, how do you keep doing that? No matter what the opinion is of this show, we're doing something right. If we weren't, we wouldn't be here. That's how this thing works. How do the fail up jobs, how do we get one of those jobs?
I don't know. I'm not sure the media. I was like, Stephen A. sure had some bombs over the years, and he seems to be on the verge of a $20 million
contract. A Twitter account to one host. Does the same thing.
This is very too close for home. I need to walk away from this topic.
Sorry, not us.
There's a studio next door that you don't get to leave. You just change time slots.
How many times have you guys actually seen someone in sports media get hired, get a show? It's like, wait, that guy got a show again? I think all industries have a little bit of this.
Weekend.
What's that?
Saw a few people this weekend, locally.
I mean, I was going to say the fan weekend lineup is guys who used to host Monday through Friday.
Stop. That's not what I meant.
On another network.
By the way,
I was talking about ESPN, by the way, just so we're clear.
I'm the one who said that doesn't happen in our industry. Yeah, I want one of those jobs where you get to keep failing and keep getting hired.
I'm trying to think who we add to this show that would be worse than we need to add somebody.
A fail up?
Yeah, right. Who's our Troy Weaver?
No.
Who we bringing in?
Yeah, who we bringing in?
Nope.
Like Keith Overman, maybe?
Oh, no.
Oof. No.
Pete couldn't handle that.
No chance.
Pete's last day.
Be throwing an anvil on his head.
It's like Jeanie just drop a refrigerator on the top of the building.
All right. Do we have any more headlines?
The Mets won. Edwin Diaz cheats. U.S. men's soccer won. Back to you, Maggie.
Gosh. All right, that's the last time I ever bring that up.
I like starting fires.
Thanks.
Continue this next segment, please.
Honestly, it's the most interesting conversation that the Wizards hire has led to in a long time. 855-212-4227. Coming up, Perloff's got something special for us. What is it? You'll see in just a moment.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie Perloff. Incredibly busy weekend with random things. We've talked about the protest on the golf course, talked about the big Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese showdown. We talked about a certain internet sensation that I'm still not comfortable talking about.
Hawk Tua. Also, don't forget we got a Game 7 tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
But none of that matters compared to the Taylor Swift London concert. I don't know if you guys saw any footage from this. There's a box with Ashton Kutcher, Liam Hemsworth, Tom Cruise, Travis Kelce, of course. I believe Hugh Grant's there. They're all jamming out to, there was one song, Shake It Off.
Okay.
And you have not seen a pop culture phenomenon until you've seen a 6-year-old Tom Cruise jamming next to Liam Hemsworth to a Taylor Swift song.
Wait, is Tom Cruise a good dancer?
No, yeah, he is actually a really good dancer, but it's just they all look like 14-year-olds. They're all gleefully watching the thing. And I was saying in the break to Maggie, this Travis Kelce Taylor Swift relationship, this has worked. Whatever you can say about it, nothing has ever worked in the history of sports and entertainment like this. He's on stage part of the show. I mean, it's like 100% approval rating. And I keep waiting for this bubble to burst on the Taylor Swift thing. It's not happening. And I'm sorry, they're going to get married and everyone's going to love them. And if anyone has a problem with that, I'm sorry, it's too late.
Former intern Amanda, now just current employee Amanda, nodding and shaking your head vigorously. Yeah, I mean, Amanda's like a 20-something young woman. This is right in your wheelhouse, Amanda, but it's in all of our wheelhouses.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is...
Okay, but here's the thing. Travis is like carrying her out during the show as like part of a performance. I'm like, he's wearing a top hat and a tuxedo. It's so too much. Like, you also are going to turn people off with what kids today call the ick factor. It's giving me a little ick. It's their relationship in everybody's face so heavy. Like, how about a little, there's no mystery. She's at every home game and away game. She went to 10 games last year. And obviously they made a Super Bowl run. Great for them. And won it. And now he's there like where it's icky. Yeah?
Maggie, you don't want to die on this hill.
Okay.
I would just go after Caitlin Clark again and her fashion choices.
I'm not doing that again.
I think you're wrong. I think you're reading this wrong. I think they keep winning. And I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of it either. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. And I don't love how, I mean, the LeBron camp is bad, but the Swifties are even worse about sort of defending their turf. Still, I think Travis Kelce has done nothing wrong here. He just gets more and more popular, and he's getting introduced to a whole new set of people who love him.
Well, that already happened, but now they're ingratiated with him. Now they feel like they know him. I'll give you credit, Perloff. You're right. It is going great. I agree with you. They're getting married. They're going to have a kid. It's going to be this big thing, and maybe they're just together forever.
So why ick factor?
Well, it's like any couple, whether it's real life or famous people you know, people you don't know. It's all great, but then when you start schmoopying it up, like, not for our friend Sully, him and Schmoopy, I love them. But you know what Schmoopy is. It's an episode of Seinfeld where the PDA, the public displays of affection, are making everyone around them sick.
But no.
This is like we're getting into Schmoopy territory.
No, they're not making everyone sick. They're making you sick, and I think People's sick. But I think everybody else
it's like
is
the baby
buying
talk
this. Hook, line, and sinker.
Making out at the dinner table, and that's the Schmoopy.
I didn't to me, how many shows does Kelsey got to keep going to?
She did 8 nights in London.
I'm come on. Like, you're a year in a relationship. Like, this is the same.
How many games does she have to go to?
No, but a game is a different result, right? This is the same show that she did in Tokyo, that she did in L.A., that she did in Cleveland.
Amanda says no, it's not the same show.
It's close enough, right? There's not going to be a different result. There's going to be fireworks at the end. She's going to say thank you to my fans, and she's going to walk out.
But lots of people go to the same. I mean, Bogusch will go see Dave Matthews Band 5 nights in a row, and I think twice about it.
Right, but he's not dating Dave Matthews.
He probably wishes he was.
Right, I'm saying, though, like, if that's your significant other, at a certain point, you say, all right, you going to work? Okay, cool, I'll see you later.
Oh, my God.
She's going to work. How many times you got to show up at her job?
Well, so she was showing up at his job.
If I'm Travis Kelce.
And I'm saying Super Bowl, playoffs, I don't think she got to be at every regular season game.
She showed up to the Bears game.
Well, that's early in a relationship. Yeah,
Bears didn't even go to that game.
You saw the final score. They did not show up to that game.
But Travis Kelce's also a wonderful performer in himself. Like, I don't know. He's like, he gets to go and be a part of the show. Why not?
I just think to me, if I was a Taylor Swift fan, I wouldn't want to be seeing this dude. I'm like, look, I want to see Taylor Swift. This is a Taylor Swift show.
EJ. They all feel invested that she's found love. And they want this. And now you understand where I come from with the ick factor.
Oh, I agree. I agreed. I'm just saying, I think the part of it is that I would not feel as bad if he wasn't always there. Like, you're going out to a club, you're going out to a restaurant. Okay, we see you. That's different.
Yeah.
You got to show up at the concert every time. Like, come on.
Okay, let's let Amanda get on the mic. Rebuttal here. Amanda's a young woman on the show. We love Amanda. You love this.
Oh, okay. So this is my tinfoil hat moment because I think that this is like the greatest PR stunt of all time. I think that it is genius because you are getting. Oh, thank you.
It's not even a real relationship.
Well, no, I think that there's parts of it that are. Sorry, the big headphones are killing me. But I think the parts of it that are true are great, but they're exacerbating it so that they can get more female fans in the NFL.
All right, I like it.
Whatever. Jason Kelce was partying with Greta Gerwig. This is awesome.
Didn't see that combo coming. Can she shotgun a beer, Greta?
It's going to be a cool summer.
Barbie 2. EJ, thank you. Pete, Bogusch, Kaplan, Amanda, Vito's Coffee Drinkers.